Welcome to Ichiraku Ramen, and thank you for joining me for another journey into the world of shinobi. Before we begin, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone who listens, supports the channel, and enjoys these stories. Today's story is part 2 of Naruto's secret jutsu. In this story, Naruto Uzumaki was always underestimated. Dead last of the academy, ignored by the village, written off as a failure. But everything changes when he discovers a forbidden technique. The flying Raijin jutsu, a space-time ninjutsu once used by the legendary Yellow Flash. A technique so fast, so deadly, it changed the outcome of wars. And Naruto learns it 2 years before the Genin exams. This is a fan-made story inspired by the world of Naruto. All characters in the original universe belong to their respective creators. This narration is created for entertainment purposes as part of a transformative storytelling experience. The story itself was written by Keeper of the Ninja Way, and full credit goes to the original author. If you would like to read the original version, the link to the story is included in the video description below. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Chapter 11. Recommendation, First and Second Stages. The Junin sensei and some chunin were gathered in the Hokage's council chambers. All of them knew why they were there. The third Hokage began the meeting by saying, "I assume you all know why we're here. So it's that time already, I've already seen some of the participating ninja from other villages," said Asuma. "The chunin selection exams should be interesting this time around," said Kakashi. That's right. We will begin recommendations now, starting with the senseis of the rookie genin," said the third Hokage. "There's no point, none of the rookies are ready for this exam yet," thought Iruka. Kakashi stepped forward and said, "I'm Kakashi Hitaki. My team consists of Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. I recommend all 3 for the chunin selection exam." Gasp, "What? Is he crazy?" thought Iruka. Next up was Kurenai. "I'm Kurenai Yuhi. My team consists of Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame. I too recommend all 3 for the chunin selection exam." Last but not least was Asuma. "I'm Asuma Sarutobi. My team consists of Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka and Choji Akamichi. I too recommend all 3 for the chunin selection exam." Once Asuma finished, the crowd of Junin began whispering about how all the rookies have been nominated at once, which hadn't happened in years. "Hold on, Lord Hokage, excuse me, but there is no way those rookies are ready for the chunin exams. I would know, I've taught all of them when they were in the academy. I know their strengths and weaknesses better than anyone," said Iruka, worried about all of them but mostly Naruto. "Iruka, I understand that you're worried. But they're not your students, they're our soldiers. So know their strengths and weaknesses. Besides, I was half Naruto's age by the time I took the exams," said Kakashi, trying to ease Iruka's worry at least a little. "Too bad it didn't work. Naruto is nothing like you. Are you trying to get them killed?" Iruka asked, with anger in his voice. "Look Iruka, you are highly underestimated." "Alright Kakashi, that's enough," Kurenai said, interrupting Kakashi. "On the contrary Kurenai, he needs to hear this. Now as I was saying, you're highly underestimating our students. If you don't give them room to grow, how do you expect them to ever succeed? Besides, you're mostly worried about Naruto, right? Well, Naruto is stronger than you would expect. Just trust me on this Iruka," said Kakashi. "Maybe he's right Kakashi. I let my squad wait an entire year, so they can mature and gain experience," said a man with a bowl haircut, wearing green spandex with orange leg warmers, and the typical Leaf Village flag jacket. "Well, that may be fine for your students guy, but not mine. They've changed, more than you could have imagined. Well, more like sooner than you could have imagined." "Alright, that's enough. Iruka, I understand your concern, but you should trust the Junin sensei training your former students. Now let's continue with the recommendations. Why does Kakashi sensei always ask us to show up so early, yet he doesn't show till hours later?" Sakura complained. "I mean come on, I didn't even have time to brush my hair." Although Sakura's hair only had a few strands curled up. "Drama queen, it looks fine to me Sakura," said Naruto, complimenting Sakura's hair. "Shut up, Naruto, no one asked you." "Poof, yo. Sorry I'm late, I got lost on the path of life," said Kakashi, showing up 2 hours later. "Liar. Yelled Sakura and Naruto, knowing it was a lie. Well anyway, I know this is sudden. But I just recommended you 3 for the Chunin exams. Said Kakashi, holding up 3 application papers. Really? Alright, yelled Naruto, taking one of the applications. Once everyone took an application, Kakashi continued. Now, turn in that application 5 days from now in room 301 at the academy. This is an individual choice, so don't take it unless you actually want to. Later. With that Kakashi took off. The 3 had split up, and Naruto had gone up to the Hokage monument where he happened to meet up with Hinata. Hey Hinata, what's up? Oh, hi Naruto. Nothing much, I was just thinking if I want to take the Chunin exams. Replied Hinata. Hinata and Naruto had gone on multiple dates since their first date. With the more dates they had, the more confident Hinata became. And the easier it became for the two to act as if nothing was going on between the two. Unless you were either those two or Kurenai. Oh, you got recommended too? Naruto asked, taking a seat next to Hinata and kissing her on the cheek. Yes, 2 days ago. Hinata replied, blushing slightly. What, 2 days ago? But Kakashi-sensei just told us about it today. Did Kakashi-sensei just recommend us today, or something? No, Kurenai-sensei told us that all of this year's rookies were all recommended. That jerk. Can't he just go one time without screwing us over? Ugh. See. Calm down, Naruto. I'm sure he had his reasons. Said Hinata, trying to calm Naruto. HMPF. Yay to screw us over until the last minute. Naruto replied, calmer but still ticked off. I don't think that was his intention. Don't know why, but I'm sure he had his reasons. Aside from screwing you over. Sigh, yay, maybe you're right Hinata. But it still ticks me off. I know, but like he says, you have to look underneath the U, underneath. HN, yay you're right. So why are you worried about taking the Chunin exam? Naruto asked. I'm just worried that I may not be good enough to take the exams. I've never really been that good, according to father and the clan elders. Hinata replied. What? That bullshit Hinata, Naruto said, louder than he meant to. Making Hinata jump in surprise. I mean with what you told me about the gentle fist and Byakugan, you'd be totally awesome. Believe it, but damn. My cousin is participating as well, and he's called the most gifted of the Hyuga clan. If I fight him, I'll lose. So that's it, it's your cousin you're worried about. Look, Hinata, you're better than everyone thinks, I guarantee you that. You just need more confidence in yourself, that's all. Uth? Think so, Naruto? Hinata asked. She was blushing that Naruto had so much confidence in her, but she still couldn't help but doubt herself. Naruto placed his hand on her opposite cheek, and turned her head towards him. Of course I do Hinata. I don't doubt that even for the amount of time it takes me to move from one place to another with the flying Raijin Jutsu. Said Naruto, reassuring her and kissing her on the cheek once again. Hinata blushed with Naruto's actions, that her face almost resembled a tomato. Looking away, Hinata replied. Thank you, Naruto. No problem, Hinata. Naruto pulled away, before he risked Hinata fainting. Thank you, Naruto. I think I will take the Chunin exams. Really? That's great, and you're welcome. For the next hour they just sat there, looking over the village. Hinata had to go home for dinner, while Naruto decided to go train for the upcoming exams. Finally the day for the Chunin exams has come. Everybody participating is either showing up or already has. Squad 7 was making their way up the stairs, when they noticed a crowd of people in front of a room. The room was being blocked by 2 genin. They saw a young boy a little older than them in green spandex and orange leg warmers and a bowl haircut, get knocked down. Shortly after, a girl in a pink kimono and brown hair done up in 2 buns get knocked down as well. Walking up to them, Sasuke decided to show off to the crowd. By exposing their tricks. Sheesh, why don't cut out the act? This is the 2nd floor, not the 3rd. So release the genjutsu. Yay, it was so easy. It's pathetic, said Sakura. So you saw right through it. Now, let's see what you can do in a fight. Said the boy, with bandages on his cheeks, releasing the genjutsu and attempting a kick at Sasuke. Sasuke attempted to counter with a kick of his own. Before either could connect, the boy in green cut in and blocked both kicks. What the? How'd he block my kick? Sasuke thought. Lee, it was your idea not to show off, said the girl with buns. Mind out the gutter, you pervs. Lol, I'm sorry, Tenten, replied Lee, as he looked over to Sakura and blushed slightly. Oh brother, thought Tenten. Lee walked over to Sakura and introduced himself. Hello, I'm Rock Lee. You're Sakura Haruno, right? Yay? Sakura replied, somewhat curious as to where this was going. Please, be my girlfriend, he asked. Sakura replied, with a disturbed look on her face. Definitely not. Why? Lee asked, shocked that he was rejected. Because you're a weirdo. Hey you, what's your name? Asked Lee's final teammate, asked Sasuke. He had white eyes, brown hair and wore a tan shirt and black shorts. It's common courtesy to say your own name first, before asking someone else's? Sasuke replied, with arrogance in his voice. You're a rookie, right? How old are you? I'm not obliged to answer. With that, Sasuke turned around and walked away with his teammates. Why, that arrogant little, Neji thought. HMHM, kinda cute, thought Tenten. HMPF, let's go you two, said Neji. I'll catch up, there's something I want to see, replied Lee. With that he followed after Sasuke. Hey you, with the attitude. Hold on, said Lee, from the balcony. Squad 7 turned around towards the balcony when Sasuke replied. What do you want? Jumping down, Lee replied. My name is Rock Lee. You said that it's common courtesy to say your own name, before asking for someone else's. Right. Sasuke Uchiha? HMPF, that's right I did. Now what do you want? Sasuke asked. I want to fight you. A fight? You honestly think you're a match for me? Yes, I do, Lee replied, his voice full of confidence. Don't you want to crack at him, Naruto? Sasuke asked. PFT, not today Sasuke. Go ahead, Naruto replied. Fine. Bring it. Sasuke, no. We only have 20 minutes to get our applications in, said Sakura, warning Sasuke about the limited time left. Don't worry, I'll only need 5 to take care of this creep. Sasuke replied. Always Sasuke. Oh well, I'll get my chance eventually. I'll stay out of this, and let them beat each other up, thought Naruto, jealous at the recognition Sasuke receives. Sasuke charged in, aiming for his head with a right punch. Lee dodged by jumping up, and countered with a roundhouse in midair. I'm not moving fast enough. I have to block, Sasuke thought. Sasuke had his block up, but still got kicked in the face. Sasuke was sent back, as a result. Naruto and Sakura gasped when they saw what just happened. What just happened? How'd he hit Sasuke? Sakura thought to herself. How did he? Sasuke thought. HMPF, interesting. I've been waiting to try this out, said Sasuke. Sasuke closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he revealed the Sharingan. Only this time he had 2 comma marks in each eye, unlike in the Land of Waves. The Sharingan. If it's anything like Kakashi-sensei's, then this'll be a breeze for Sasuke, thought Sakura. Sharingan? Will it really make much of a difference? I mean, Kakashi-sensei's had 3 comma marks in his eye, but Sasuke only has 2 in each. I saw the kick that, bushy brow, landed easily. I mean, moving as fast as my jutsu does, I kinda have to be able to keep up with high speeds. Well, let's see what happens, thought Naruto, wondering if the Sharingan was even going to help Sasuke. The Sharingan, eh? I'm sorry guys sensei, but I may need to use that move, Lee thought. Sasuke charged in once again, but it was no use. Sasuke couldn't hit him. Lee managed to land blow after blow on Sasuke, until once again Sasuke was sent to the floor. Do you see now? I'm not using ninjutsu or genjutsu, I'm only using taijutsu. With the Sharingan, you can read a person's chakra and hand signs. That allows you to figure out what your opponent will do next, before they even know themselves. But taijutsu is a bit different. Yay, so? Sasuke replied. So, just because you can see my moves, doesn't mean you can counter them if you do not have the speed required. So, your Sharingan is less against me. Sasuke charged in again, enraged that his clan's Kekkei Genkai was insulted. Still no convinced? Lee asked. Sasuke aimed for a punch, but missed as Lee disappeared. The next thing he knew he was up in the air, pain shooting through his jaw. Once his back up parallel to the floor, Sasuke looked behind him to see Lee. Dancing leaf shadow, Sasuke said, knowing the technique that normally follows. Good eye, but it is helpless here, said Lee, as he unwrapped the wraps on his hands. Before Lee could execute his next attack, a pinwheel struck his wrap to the adjacent wall. This is bad, said Lee, as he stopped and landed on the floor by a tortoise. Sasuke on the other hand couldn't react, shocked by the fact he lost. Sasuke, yelled Sakura, as she ran and caught Sasuke. You were watching the whole time? Lee asked, kneeling on one knee. That's right, you know that technique is forbidden, Lee, and I don't want to hear any excuses. So, come on out, Guy-sensei, said the tortoise. Poof, hey, what's shaking, kids? Asked the older Lee look-alike, Guy. Thank you, Ningame. No problem, Guy-sensei, replied the tortoise, now known as Ningame. Lee, you fool, Guy yelled, punching Lee, causing Squad 7 to sweat drop, seeing the display. Ouch, said Lee, slowly getting up. Lee, Guy-sensei. Lee, Guy-sensei. With that the two began hugging, with a sunset genjutsu background. I think I'm gonna be sick. That makes me want to throw up, thought all members of Squad 7, turning pale at the disturbing image now in their heads. Can you really blame them? Who the hell is that guy? He's got the same bowl haircut, and even bushier eyebrows, yelled Naruto. Hey, don't insult Guy-sensei. He is the greatest ninja in the world. Lee yelled back. Well, excuse me for not noticing, I was too creeped out with your identical appearances. It's alright, Lee. No need to argue over something so trivial, said Guy, before Lee could say anything. You're Kakashi's students, right? Yay, so? Naruto replied. Who are you? Guy once again replied, somewhat dramatically, before Lee could say anything. Some people say, he and I are arch rivals for all eternity. What? Yay, right, Naruto replied. Ha ha. Well, they do say that actions speak louder than words, said Guy, suddenly vanishing. Where did he go? Sakura asked herself. Ah, he's behind us, said Naruto, causing Sasuke and Sakura to turn around. How'd he figure that out so quickly? Did he see Guy-sensei move? But that's impossible, he was the dead last of this year's rookies. By the looks of it, he was the only one to see Guy-sensei, thought Lee, surprised that Naruto could see his sensei even move. How does I keep up with my speed? Interesting. The score stands 50 wins and 49 losses, which is one better that is by the way. Thought, said Guy, impressed that a rookie could track his moves. No way. How'd he beat Kakashi-sensei? Asked Naruto. That shouldn't matter right now, we have to get our applications in, said Sakura, being the voice of reason. Guy looked up at the clock and saw that there was 10 minutes left before the Chunin exam registration deadline. You're right, Lee, your punishment is to run 500 laps around the village. But that will have to wait until after the Chunin exam. With that, Guy left. Yes, Guy-sensei, replied Lee, before turning to Sasuke. Sasuke, just so you know, you were only a test for my skills. My true objective is my own teammate. Al thought you were a test then, you're target now. Lee then turned to Naruto. And you, what's your name? My name's Naruto Uzumaki. Why? Replied Naruto. Because you were able to see my sensei move, you are now my target as well. You two have now been warned. Lee then left, off to catch up with his teammates. Naruto, how do you manage to keep up with that speed? Sakura asked. Well, I've been training with my jutsu, that my eyes kinda adjusted to high speeds. But I can't react to it without my jutsu thought. Naruto answered. Oh, that makes sense, said Sakura. Anyway, Sasuke, you know why you lost, right? I mean, you saw his hands. He probably trains every day until he drops, that's all, said Naruto. This is getting exciting. It's like all the best are here, waiting to test us out. Should be fun, Sasuke claimed, very interested in how things will turn out. I'm glad you came, Sakura, said Kakashi, standing in front of room 301. What are doing here, Kakashi-sensei? And what do you mean? Asked Sakura. I mean that if you decided not to show up, I'd have to turn Naruto and Sasuke away. Squads can only enter this exam in teams of 3. Al thought I said it's an individual's choice whether or not to take the exam, which is true. I didn't want Naruto or Sasuke persuading you in any way. I wanted you to make that decision on your own. Well, that's all pointless now anyway, you're all here. Go on in, and good luck, explained Kakashi. Right, replied all three, entering the double doors into room 301. Whoa, I had no idea that there would be so much competition, said Sakura, losing her nerve upon seeing the number of people in the room. Sasuke, Ino yelled, jumping onto Sasuke's back. I haven't seen you in ages, I missed those broody good looks of yours. Hey, porker, let go of Sasuke now, yelled Sakura. Oh, forehead, you're still here. I'm surprised they let you in the exams. Leave my forehead out of this, you pig. Ino just stuck her tongue out at Sakura. So, it's you guys. Great, more competition, said Shikamaru, coming to stand with everyone alongside Choji. Hey, it's the Three Stooges. They let you guys in? Said Naruto, taunting Shikamaru. Say what? You know something, you little. Never mind, you're not even worth the breath, replied Shikamaru. So, the rookie 9 together again, huh? Said Kiba, walking up with his teammates. You guys too? Oh man, what a drag, said Shikamaru. Looks like sure thing, at least for those of us good enough to make the cut. Right, Sasuke? Said Kiba. HMPF, don't get too confident, Kiba, replied Sasuke. HMPF, we've been training too hard to lose to you guys. What do you think we've been doing? You don't even know what training means. Naruto yelled, slightly irritated that Kiba was underestimating him. Asshole, always acting like he's the best. I hope I get to kick his ass in these exams too. Sorry, Naruto. He did it mean it L, like that, said Hinata, acting as she did before dating Naruto. Huh? Asked Naruto. Hinata looked away blushing. HN? Kiba looked towards Hinata, and saw her blushing. Damn that Naruto. What does Hinata see in that idiot? Kiba thought. Hey, you guys are rookies, right? You should keep it down, otherwise you'll make yourself a target, said an older boy wearing purple with a white sash and glasses. He also had silver hair. Who are you? Asked Ino. I'm Kabuto Yakushi, but you might want to look around. Everybody is on edge. Those guys behind you are from the Hidden Rain, very touchy. You don't want to get on anybody's bad side. Kabuto replied. Well, I can relate, I was the same way when I was a rookie. So I'll help you guys out a bit. How many times have you taken the exams? Asked Sakura. Since they're held twice a year, this'll be my 7th time. Anyway, I got some ninja info cards. I got info on nearly everybody, it's not complete but still should help, answered Kabuto. Think you can show me the info you got about a few people? Asked Sasuke. Sure, who do you want to know about? Give me a description, where they're from, anything, said Kabuto. There's Gaara of the desert, Rock Lee of the Hidden Leaf, and just for the hell of it, this idiot right here, Sasuke said, pointing at Naruto with his thumb. Hey, yelled Naruto. Oh, that's easy. Kabuto then pulled out 3 cards from his stack and held them up. Here they are, show them to me. First, Rock Lee. He's a year older, and this is also his first time taking the exams. He's completed 20 D and 12 C ranked missions. His sensei is Might Guy, and teammates are Tenten and Neji Hyuga. In the past year his taijutsu has increased dramatically, but his other skills are sketchy. Next is Gaara. His skills are unknown, since he's from the Hidden Sand. He's completed an unknown number of D rank, but has 8 C ranked, and get this 8 B ranked as a genin. And he came back from EV mission without even a scratch. 8 B rank as a genin, and he's never been injured? No way, said Shikamaru. No way am I going to mess with that guy. Now, Naruto Uzumaki, 7 D and 1 foot C, turned A ranked, along with you and Sakura Haruno. Sensei is the famed Kakashi Hatake the copy ninja. Skills aren't the most impressive out there, but it says that he's the only one of you to land a hit on a rogue Junin from the Hidden Mist. Zabuza Momochi, one of the 7 ninja swordmen, aka as the demon of the Hidden Mist. What I don't get is how rookie genin with negligible skills managed to hit an experienced Junin. Finished Kabuto, curious how Naruto had achieved such a feat. What, that loser hit a Junin? Yay, right, yelled Ino and Kiba at once. That's a good question, even we don't know how, answered Sakura. What, you mean that's true? Asked Ino. By this time most of the room was staring at Naruto, having difficulty believing that someone wearing "Kill Me" orange could hit a Junin. While I was a prankster in the academy. So if a Junin underestimates me, even they tricks they can fall for my tricks. Hee. Naruto answered, thankful that Sakura helped cover Naruto's secret. Anyway, says Kabuto, pulling out a card with a map. Leaf, sand, grass, waterfall, rain, and sound. They all sent participants to this year's Chunin exams. In all the years, I've never seen a group with such exceptional skills. This'll be the hardest exam I've been in yet. Almost sounds like it's enough to make you lose your confidence. Said Hinata. Yay, but the Sound Village is new, there's not much known about them. They're small, and are a mystery. Said Kabuto. If only I was as confident as I sounded when I recommended them. I mean even the cockiest of them should be nervous, Kakashi thought. I'm Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm gonna beat every one of you. Believe it, Naruto yelled. Or not, haha. Naruto you jackass, do you have to make us a target? Sakura yelled while putting him in a headlock. Did you hear what he said? He said the sound was small a mystery. Said the spiky black-haired sound ninja. Yay, I heard. What do you say we give him some info? Replied the bandaged sound ninja. Yay, let's go. Said the sound kunoichi with long black hair. Sakura had in the meantime let go, and began lecturing Naruto. Naruto noticed some movement between the other candidates, and prepared himself just in case. Suddenly the spiky-haired ninja jumped and threw 2 kunai towards Kabuto. Kabuto dodged the attack quite easily, but then he saw the bandaged ninja coming in for an attack as well. Before the bandaged ninja could strike, he was kicked in the ribs and knocked off his feet. Are you alright, Kabuto? Asked Naruto, standing up after having kicked the bandaged ninja. Yay, thanks Naruto. Replied Kabuto. Hey kid, what's your problem? Asked the spiky-haired ninja. His kunoichi teammate was helping up the bandaged one. I could ask you the same thing. Attacking a fellow leaf ninja of ours is a big mistake. Countered Naruto. Looks like he's about as good as you claimed, Lee. Said Neji. Yes, perhaps better. Replied Lee. Poof, alright, that's enough. You 3 from that sound, do you want to get disqualified before the exams even begin? Said a tall man, wearing a black trench coat. What about him? Yelled the spiky one. He was defending a comrade from an attack, though the warning goes for everyone. I'll say this once. There will be no fighting, unless a proctor specifically allows it. And even then, there will be no killing. Replied the man. Now, I am Ibiki Morino, your proctor and your worst nightmare. Alright, squads will line up. Once you hand in your applications, you'll be given a number. That number is where you'll all sit for the written exam. Said a Chunin, named Katetsu. WR. Written test? No. Guess who, lol. Once they were all seated, Ibiki explained the rules for the test. 25 minutes into and Naruto was really panicking, while most have already figured out that various ways to cheat without getting caught. Many have already been caught 5 times, getting themselves as well as their teammate disqualified. 5 minutes later, Naruto noticed a little rolled-up paper in front of him. Naruto grabbed it and unrolled it to see what was written on it. Naruto was surprised to see what it was. It was the answers to the questions for problems 1 to 9. Looking to his right where Hinata was seated, he noticed her smile and blush. No way. Hinata's helping me? This couldn't get any better. I just hope she won't get in trouble for this. Thought Naruto, smiling back at Hinata. Turning back to his test, Naruto began to furiously copy the answers. Sakura had just regained consciousness after being under Ino's mind transfer jutsu, unknown to her of course. She noticed that Naruto was writing something down on his test. Naruto, are you cheating? Why you better not get caught or Sasuke and I both will kill you, thought Sakura. Did Naruto figure it out? If so, then how is he cheating without getting caught, thought Sasuke. Naruto had just finished writing all the answers down and swallowed the piece of paper, when Ibiki called an end for the first 9 questions. Alright, pencils down. Ibiki then explained the new rules for question 10. So, you either take the question and risk failing and never taking the Chunin exams again, or pass and try again next time. If you want to pass, then just raise your hand. One by one participants started giving up. Eventually, Naruto raised his hand as well, surprising Hinata and his teammates. Slam, don't ever underestimate me, Scareface. I don't quit and I don't run away. Even if I do end up being a genin for life, I'll still become Hokage. Naruto yelled, full of confidence in himself. Your ninja career hinges upon this decision. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider? Asked Ibiki. No way. I never go back on my word. That's my ninja way. Naruto replied. His little speech seemed to have put some backbone into the others. Ibiki thought, looking around the room. Seeing that no one else was quitting, he decided to continue. Alright, for all those who decided to answer the question, you all pass. What? Yelled everyone in the room. Ibiki then began to explain the reason for the questions. That they were meant to test one's ability to gather information, and put the 10th question in a hypothetical mission scenario. Crash! A woman came flying through the window, opening a large banner that said, Your proctor for the second test, Anko Mitarashi. Don't start celebrating yet, maggots. Ibiki, you let 78 genin pass? You've gotten soft, said Anko. Or maybe, there's a better crop of participants this time around. Ibiki replied. Sure doesn't look like it. Well, either way, there will be less than half by the time I'm through with them. Less than half? Alright, that's all for today. I'll let your squad leaders know where you'll be meeting at tomorrow morning. See ya then. It was the next day, and the second stage of the exams had already begun. Squad 7 had stopped for a quick rest, when they heard a scream. Was that a scream? Sakura asked, scared that she did indeed hear a scream. Don't worry about it, Sakura. Anyway, I gotta take a whiz. Naruto then went into the bushes. A moment later, a ninja in a white jumpsuit and a breathing apparatus came flying into the clearing. What the? Said the ninja. Once he stood up, Sasuke and Sakura saw the Rain Village symbol on his headband. Naruto, are you okay? Sakura asked, yelling since she couldn't see Naruto. Damn it, can't a guy take a piss without interruptions? Fuck, Naruto yelled back. Sakura blushed slightly, embarrassed for interrupting something so private. Okay, so I couldn't tie that idiot up and take your scroll. So I'll just have to take it by force, said the Rain Ninja, pulling out a kunai and attacking Sasuke. Just try it. Sakura, watch out, the others might be nearby, yelled Sasuke, warning Sakura. Oh, right, Sakura replied, finally pulling out her own kunai. Sasuke pulled out his own kunai and began a counter-attack. They locked up a few times. Eventually Naruto came into the fray. Alright, you asshole, payback time for interrupting me while trying to piss. Naruto yelled, jumping out of the bushes with his kunai ready. Shit, this isn't good. I came without back, so I wouldn't raise suspicion. Big mistake. Not so fast, you damn pervert. Naruto jumped in his path, stabbing him in the shoulder. You'll pay for that, the Rain Ninja said, running away with Naruto's kunai. Once they were alone, Sasuke asked Naruto a question. Naruto, he could have led us to his teammates. Did that kunai have a seal on it? Yup. Just have to wait till it's dark, and we'll get him. Naruto replied. Good job, loser. Shut up, bastard. Alright, just in case someone tries to disguise themselves as one of us, we'll need a password. Once he saw that they were paying attention, Sasuke continued. Alright, when someone asks, when does a ninja strike? The answer is, a ninja waits till the time is right. When his weapons lie forgotten in the stillness of the night, that is the time for a ninja to strike. Got it? Yep, Sakura replied. You got one a little shorter? Asked Naruto. Come on, don't tell me you didn't get all that. I memorized it easily, said Sakura. I got it. I just thought it was a password, not a pass speech. A strong gust of wind started blowing, and a piece of debris hit Naruto in the face. Noticing that it was a jutsu, Naruto yelled. Watch out, it's a wind-style jutsu. Damn it. When I find the person who used that jutsu, I'm gonna kill him, said Naruto. Once Naruto stood up, he came face to face with a giant snake. Shit, the snake struck at Naruto. Naruto managed to dodge, and he began making hand signs. Wind style, great breakthrough jutsu, Naruto yelled. The jutsu hit the snake, knocking him back a few meters. Oh crap, I thought that would do more than that. Whoa, said Naruto, as he dodged another strike. Damn it, looks like I have to use that jutsu, but I haven't mastered it or the training yet. Yikes, Naruto kept dodging strike after strike. Fuck it. Wind style, wind blades jutsu. Invisible blades of wind flew towards the snake, but unfortunately the snake only received a few cuts. Ah, you gotta be kidding me. Naruto yelled, frustrated that he couldn't beat the snake. Naruto was getting tired of constantly dodging the snake. He knew that if he didn't stop the snake here, then it would just track him down and cause problems for his team. Naruto has been racking his brains for a solution when finally. I got it, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto created a single shadow clone. Grabbing it, he threw his clone down the snake's throat. Inside the snake. Alright, Slitherpuss. Time to say goodbye, Shadow Clone Jutsu. From within the snake, hundreds of shadow clones appeared, expanding the snake until the snake just burst into pieces. Back outside, alright, time to get back to the other. Said Naruto. Thud 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 thud. Hey guys, y'all miss me? Asked Naruto, arriving just in time to stop the grass kunoichi in her tracks. Naruto, get out of here. We're way out of our league here. Yelled Sasuke, warning Naruto of this ninja's power. Oh, shut up Sasuke. Naruto yelled, while forming hand signs. Wind style, great breakthrough jutsu. Crack. The jutsu struck the grass ninja, causing her to break through the branch because she was caught off guard. The ninja landed on her feet on a different branch. She looked up towards the Naruto and yelled, "Why you little bastards? You'll pay for that." She bit her thumb and whipped it on the left arm, and began forming hand signs, summoning jutsu. A giant snake appeared beneath the ninja's feet, destroying the branch she was standing on. So you're the one who sent that snake after me. Take this. Wind style. Wind blades jutsu. This time the jutsu was more effective than last time, but it still wasn't enough to kill the summoned snake. Damn it. HM. You're better than I gave you credit for, I'll give you that. But you're still a weak little genin, said the grass ninja. The battle continued for a short while, but Naruto couldn't get his kunai and shuriken anywhere near him. Eventually Naruto got angry and began to draw upon the Nine Tails chakra. The grass ninja noticed this, and knew it would be troublesome. Once Naruto killed the snake, she took her chance to restain him and used the five-pronged seal to disrupt Naruto's and the Nine Tails chakra flow. The use of the seal caused Naruto to fall unconscious. The grass ninja just threw Naruto to the side against a nearby tree. Sakura saw that Naruto was going to fall to his death, so she threw her kunai, saving Naruto by connecting his jacket to the tree. The grass ninja continued to attack Sasuke, who fought back. Eventually Sasuke was overpowered and given the curse mark. The grass ninja revealed her or himself to be Orochimaru, and claimed that Sasuke would come to him for power. It was the next morning, and Squad 10 was having trouble with the sound ninja. Sasuke had already awoken, and took out the spiky hair sound ninja Zaku. Sasuke was going to go after the bandaged sound ninja Dosu, before Sakura calmed him down from his curse-marked induced state. "Sigh, we're safe, for now," said Dosu. Poof! Suddenly Dosu was inside a cloud of smoke. He was then sent flying, and crashed into a tree. What just happened, Neji? Asked Tenten. I don't know, I didn't have my Byakugan active. Neji replied. Once the smoke cleared, nothing was there. What was that? Whatever. Sasuke. We're no match for you this time, but next time it'll be different. We'll give you our scroll, and in return you let us go, said Dosu, laying the scroll on the ground. Dosu then picked up his teammates and left. HMPF, we're going, Tenten, said Neji. Right, Tenten replied. Once Tenten got Lee and lectured him about his recklessness, they left. Squad 10 soon left as well. All that were left now was Squad 7. Sigh, this isn't good. What should we do, Sasuke? Asked Sakura. What do you mean? We've got both a heaven and earth scroll, don't we? Asked Sasuke. No, that fake grass ninja said his name is Orochimaru. He burned our heaven scroll. Sakura replied. Hey guys, maybe if that rain ninja still has my kunai, we can take their scroll if it's the one we need, said Naruto. That was the original plan. Alright, we'll wait for tonight, and hope they have the scroll we need. For now, we need to rest. We might have to fight for it, replied Sasuke. Last night's plan was a success. Squad 7 was now on the way to the tower with both a heaven and earth scroll. The rain ninja was awake, but due to the surprised at the sudden appearance and was quickly subdued. What was that? Asked Sakura. Doesn't matter, it doesn't concern us, Sasuke replied. But what if it's a fellow leaf ninja, and they're in trouble? It's not our problem, it's every man for themselves in this stage. Sasuke, you bastard. You guys go, I'll catch up. Just throw the kunai after you entered the tower, but make sure you're alone first. Later, said Naruto. He then left to go check out that scream. He does know that we can't enter the tower without him, right? Asked Sakura. Obviously not, we'll wait for him at the tower. Wind style. Great breakthrough jutsu. The jutsu hit he bear hard, knocking it unconscious. Are you alright? Naruto asked, landing in front of the bright red-headed girl. Picking up her glasses and putting them on, she replied. Yes, thank you. Wait, you're that loud-mouthed kid from the first stage of the exams. Yay, my name's Naruto. What's yours? Naruto asked. My name's Karen, she replied. What's your last name? How should I know? I'm an orphan. My village was destroyed about a year ago. I survived because I could sense a lot of people coming. Really? That's pretty cool. So where are your teammates? The bastards abandoned me once they saw the bear. Doesn't matter to me anymore. Well, maybe you come with us. I mean, I'd like to get to know my cousin a little better, hee. Huh, what do you mean, Kusan? Karen asked. Well, my last name is Uzumaki. And most Uzumakis have bright red hair, like yours. My hair came from my dad, that's why my hair isn't red. Hee. Naruto replied, with his hand behind his head. Thanks but no thanks. I won't betray Lord Orochi. Never mind. Orochimaru? That bastard. You serve him? He attacks me and my teammates the other night. I might not know much about him, but I do know he's bad news. He was one of the legendary Sannin of the Leaf. Karen explained. That means he's a traitor. He'll probably betray you someday too. I wouldn't trust him if I were you. Naruto warned. I find that hard to believe, just like your story about us being related. But it's true. The Uzumaki clan came from the land of eddies. It's the Uzumaki symbol that's on the backs of the flak jackets of the Leaf Ninja. And the land of eddies is about 20 miles northeast of the land of waves, since the country was destroyed in one of the past wars by their enemies. The Uzumaki clan was awesome at sealing jutsu too. Naruto explained, hoping that she'd leave Orochimaru's services and join him and the Leaf. Karen was in deep thought, she didn't know what to believe. It was Orochimaru that found he and took her in after her village was destroyed. Was that just a coincidence? Or was that Orochimaru's doing? I can't just ask Orochimaru about that, he could have me killed. What should I do? Karen thought, puzzled over who she should believe. The one that took her in, and was the possible cause for her loss. Or this boy, that claimed to be her cousin who seemed to be looking out for her like family would. Eventually she made up her mind, for now. Sorry Naruto, but I have to stay with Orochimaru for now. He would kill me if he even thought that I considered betraying him. But I can find a way to get you information on his movements when I find the chance. But if I find out that you're pulling me around, I'll kill you. Got that? Said Karen. Sure, fine by me. Although I wish you'd just come with me, we'd be able to protect you. Naruto replied. Maybe, but I'm playing it safe the way I think is best for me. If I find out you're right, I'll find a way to contact you. Should that be necessary, I'll need your help to save me. Got it? Hey, you bet. Anyway, I guess I'll get going. See you around, bye cuz. Bye circa. Cuz. Scoff. It's about time, Naruto. What took you so long? Asked Sakura. Sorry. I kinda had to take care of business, if you know what I mean. Naruto replied, putting his hand behind his hand. That's sick, you idiot. Yelled Sakura. Whatever, let's just get inside. Said Sasuke, wanting to get this stage over with. Chapter 12. Preliminary Perils. 7 squads were gathered in a room with a balcony down the length of the room, and 2 large hands forming the ram hand sign. The Junin senseis of all the squads as well as the Hokage were standing on a small elevated platform in front of them. The third Hokage began explaining the reasons for the Chunin exams, and how they came to be. How they are a substitute for war between allied nations. Before the third could tell them about the third and final test, Hayate Gecko appeared and asked to explain in his place. Once he was given permission, Hayate turned and explained to all the genin that a preliminary round must be taken. Before beginning the preliminaries, Hayate asked if anyone wanted to quit now. Only one person decided to quit. Kabuto Yakushi quit, claiming to be too tired and injured to continue. 6 matches have been completed, and the participants for the 7th would be chosen soon. Sasuke was in the first match against Kabuto's teammate, Yoroi Kato. Despite having his chakra absorbed, Sasuke came out on top with his Lion's Barrage. Since Sasuke's curse mark was sealed on the third day of the second test, he was permitted to watch the rest of the exams. And the five-pronged seal was taken off of Naruto, so his chakra returned to normal. The second match was between Shino Aburame and the sound ninja Zaku Abumi. Shino made short work of him by plugging his insects into Zaku's wind tunnels. The result being Zaku blowing his arms off. Match 3 was Kankuro of the Sand against another of Kabuto's teammates, Masumi Tsurugi. It looked like Masumi had the match won, wrapping himself around Kankuro. Unfortunately, Kankuro was hidden in the giant wrap. Kankuro made his puppet mimic Masumi's attack, wrapping itself around Masumi. Masumi gave up, not wanting to avenue all his bones broken. Match 4, Sakura vs Ino. The match ended in a draw, resulting in neither advancing to the finals. Match 5, Tenten vs Temari of the Sand. Both were long-range fighters. Tenten was a weapon specialist, but none of her attacks could penetrate Temari's wind-style jutsus. Temari added insult to injury to Tenten. Already having the match, Temari had Tenten land on the top of her giant fan Wihe back. After a few insults toward Lee and his sensei from Temari and Gaara, as well as a warning of Lee's abilities from Guy, the preliminaries continued. Sixth match, Shikamaru vs the sound Kin Tsuchi. Despite being under Kin's bell genjutsu, Shikamaru connect his shadow to Kin's. Shikamaru's a shadow possession jutsu cause Kin's genjutsu to release. Shikamaru then had Kin knock herself out by hitting her head against the wall behind her. Everyone looked at the screen as it went through the names of the remaining participants. Naruto Uzumaki vs Kiba Inuzuka. Alright, it's finally my turn. Naruto yelled, "Wahoo! Looks like we hit the lottery, eh Akamaru?" yelled Kiba, believing that this would be an easy victory. And this is my chance to show Hinata that I'm the better than that loser. Down on the floor stood Kiba with his facing his teammates and Naruto in the opposite direction. Excited that he'd be able to show what he's made of, Naruto decided to taunt Kiba. "Hey, this is gonna be easy. You might as well give up now, Kiba." A vein bulged on Kiba's forehead when he replied, "That's what I was going to say, only not so nicely." The comment caused some of the spectators to sweat drop, hearing such a lame comeback. "Kiba's got this one, sorry Kakashi, but Naruto doesn't stand a chance," said Kurenai, with complete confidence in Kiba. "Sorry Hinata, but all I said was the truth." "Sigh, you're wrong, Kurenai-sensei. Naruto has got this one. But is he going to use that jutsu?" thought Hinata. She decided not to cheer in order to keep their relationship a secret. "It's nice to have confidence in your student, but I'm afraid you're wrong. Naruto won't go down easy, if at all," said Kakashi, knowing he was right. "But will Naruto use that jutsu in front of everyone? You seem pretty confident about that, Kakashi. Are you sure Naruto can back up your claim, my rival?" asked Guy. Like everyone else, he was curious why he was so confident in Naruto. "No doubt, just watch for yourself," Kakashi replied. With that, everyone looked back down towards the combatants. Cough. Ready? Hayate asked. Receiving nods, he began the match. Begin. Kiba charged in on his own, earlier stating that he'd only need one blow to finish things. Although Naruto saw the attack coming with ease, took the blow anyway to gauge out Kiba's strength. "Ha, told you, I'd end this in one blow." Kiba laughed. Hee ha 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 ha. You call that an attack, Kiba? Man, you're weak. Naruto laughed, getting back up as if nothing happened. Keep in mind, Naruto had a couple days rest. And doesn't have that damn seal on him, since Sakura told Kakashi about what happened when Naruto collapsed. "What did you say, twerp? Come on Akamaru," Kiba yelled, receiving a asterisk bark in response. Once Naruto was standing up, Kiba threw a smoke bomb to keep Naruto from seeing any oncoming attacks. Deciding to leave the smoke, Naruto ran outside, only to get knocked back into the smoke by Akamaru, along with a loud bark. Once the smoke cleared, Akamaru was seen next to an unconscious Naruto. "Good boy, Akamaru. Come here." As commanded, Akamaru ran towards Kiba. But instead of jumping and licking Kiba, Akamaru bit him. Poof, surprise. Naruto yelled, his voice muffled due to Kiba's arm clenched between his teeth. He's an interesting one, it's not every day you see someone bite their opponent. Neji said, intrigued at what he saw. Of all the things he could have done, habitation him like a dog? That idiot, said Sakura. Hey, no kidding, Sasuke said, adding in his 2 cents. You've got to be kidding me, thought the remainder of the participants, as well as the Junin senseis. Letting go of Kiba, Naruto returned the favor by jumping back and throwing kunai with a smoke bomb attached at Kiba's feet. Poof_poof another smoke bomb went off, right where Naruto's shadow clone was. When the Naruto closest to Kiba was in a mid-air backflip, Kiba exited the other side. Only difference is that he ended up slamming against the wall behind him. His head hit just hard enough to knock him unconscious, before Naruto even landed. When all the smoke disappeared, all that could be seen was an unconscious Kiba, Naruto and his shadow clone standing with Akamaru's front legs in his hands. Hayate went over to check on Kiba, to see if he could continue. He's unconscious. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. Yahoo told you I'd win. Alright, Naruto yelled, ecstatic over his victory. Good thing I placed that seal on him when I bit him. Hee hee. Up in the balcony, only a select few knew what really happened. I should have known he'd hide that jutsu like that. He did the same thing in Wave. I gotta say, hiding a flashy jutsu like that in front of so many viewers is quite a feat. Haha, thought Kakashi. How did he do that? Wait a second. Kakashi, you know how he did that? Don't you? Asked Kurenai. Yes, but just because I know, doesn't mean I'll tell you. It's Naruto's choice who he tells, and who he doesn't. Kakashi answered. Is this the secret that Naruto told Hinata? Looking towards Hinata, she noticed Hinata looking down with a smile. Kurenai took that as a yes, and she decided to talk to her about it later. There's no way that Naruto knows something that could take someone out like that so easily. But he did something. What was it? And how'd he get his hands on something like that? Whatever it is, it's powerful. And I don't want to go against him if he has something that powerful, thought Shikamaru. On the other balcony, the Sand team were somewhat worried about facing Naruto. Or at least Temari and Kankuro were. Gaara seemed more excited than worried. What could have done something like that? There's no way that's possible, right? Said Temari. No idea. And if I ever find out, I don't want it to be the hard way. Kankuro replied. Naruto had gone back up to the balcony, and took his place with his teammates. Good job, Naruto, said Sakura. Thanks Sakura, you wanna? Said Naruto, protecting his real relationship with Hinata. No, Sakura yelled, turning down Naruto again. Not bad, loser. I could have done it better thought. Said Sasuke. Shut up, Sasuke. The electronic board starting randomizing the remaining names, catching everyone's attention. Hinata Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga. Hinata was beaten and bruised, badly. She had some blood running from her mouth, and she was holding her torso from the damage received. Neji had played mind games with her, in an attempt to have her forfeit the match. But Naruto's outburst gave Hinata the courage to fight. She gave it her all, but still could barely touch him. Even then, Hinata continued to fight. She even said that her ninja way is to never go back on my word. Impressing Naruto and the others. At the moment, Hinata was on the ground. Do you see now? It's pointless to keep fighting. You can't win. Neji taunted, knowing Hinata won't be getting back up. Hinata is unable to continue. Hayate began. Don't stop this match, yelled Naruto. Naruto, she's unconscious. Can't you see that? Said Sakura. Oh yay, look. Naruto replied. Everyone looked, and they couldn't believe what they saw. Including Neji. Hinata was on her feet, struggling to stay standing. She seemed to be clutching a kunai with a smoke bomb attached in her hand for some reason, that no one but Naruto knew. Flashback. It was the morning before the second test. Naruto and Hinata were alone, near the Forest of Death. Hey Hinata. Hey Naruto, how are you doing? Good. And you? I'm really nervous about this test. Really? Then take this. Naruto handed her a kunai with a smoke bomb attached. The kunai has a seal on it that lets me use my secret jutsu. The seal will let me know when the kunai is in flight. So, I'll be able to help you out whenever you need it. Thank you, Naruto. Hinata took the kuni, and then gave Naruto a healing ointment before parting ways. Flashback end. Why do you continue to fight? From the time of your birth, the responsibility of being the heiress has been forced upon you. You have always hated yourself for your own weakness, but people cannot change. That is destiny, said Neji. That's not true. I can see that it's not just me suffering, but you as well. You're the one that's even more twisted up about the fate of the main and side branches of the Hyuga clan. Enraged, Neji charged towards Hinata. Hinata dropped the kunai. Poof_poof, 2 smoke bombs went off. One from Hinata's kunai, the other where Naruto stood on the balcony. Neji didn't worry about the smoke, since he could see through it anyway. But what he didn't see was the foot that suddenly came from inside the smoke, hitting him in the face at the last second. Neji flew in the opposite direction that he came, and landed on his back and continued rolling another few feet. Hayate and the Leaf Junin senseis, minus Asuma, attempted to stop Neji. They would have made it in time, but Hei were beat to the punch. Well, kick. Once the smoke cleared, it was Naruto standing in front of Hinata glaring at Neji. How the hell did Naruto get down there before all the Junin? Asked Ino, having difficulty believing Naruto's speed. He even beat the proctor, and he was the closest to stopping Neji than anyone. Said Shikamaru. Man, what a drag. I really don't want to fight him in the finals. But Shikamaru, you'd be able to catch him with your shadow possession jutsu, when he's still in the smoke, right? Asked Choji. No, not with that speed. I don't have enough knowledge to come up with a counter-strategy. Shikamaru replied. Back in the arena, Naruto continued to glare at Neji. Neji had stood up, bleeding slightly from the left nostril and lower lip. Neji was glaring back at Naruto, with his Byakugan active. Hinata had in the meantime been taken away to the hospital. Why are you interfering with something that is none of your business, you failure? Who are you to play mind games with people? The way you acted was complete bullshit. You're nothing but a coward that hides behind the lame excuse of destiny and fate. And as much as I want to kick your ass right now, I can wait until the finals. And you better pray that you don't face me, because you'll receive the beating of your life. With that, Naruto went back to the balcony, only he stayed away from everyone else in order to calm down. The last 2 matches were Rock Lee vs Gaara and Choji vs Dosu. Lee proved himself to be one of the most formidable participants in the Chunin exams, but he still couldn't get past Gaara's sand defenses. Gaara crushed the bones in Lee's left arm and leg, causing further injuries to the ones Lee already caused himself with the inner gates. Choji charged Dosu with Hysehuman Boulder Jutsu, but didn't have the turning speed necessary to hit Dosu. With just one attack from Dosu's sound-amplifying gauntlet, Choji was rendered unable to continue. The advancing 9 genin now stood before the Hokage and Junin, with the 3rd Hokage telling them that in 1 month's time. The genin then drew numbers from the box that Enko Mitarashi brought to them. The drawings came as follows. 8. Dosu Kinuta. 1. Naruto Uzumaki. 4. Sasuke Uchiha. 7. Temari. 5. Kankuro. 3. Gaara. 9. Shikamaru Nara. 6. Shino Aburame. 2. Neji Hyuga. Alright, Ibiki, reveal the table. Ordered the 3rd Hokage. Ibiki turned the clipboard around, for all the genin to see who their opponent would be. Match 1. Naruto Uzumaki vs Neji Hyuga. Match 2. Gaara vs Sasuke Uchiha. Match 3. Kankuro vs Shino Aburame. Match 4. Dosu Kinuta vs Shikamaru Nara. Match 5. Temari vs TBD. The genin were then dismissed until the final rounds. Chapter 13. Preparations and Finals. Hey Kakashi-sensei, can you help me train my jutsu? Naruto asked. Sorry Naruto, but I'll be helping Sasuke. Kakashi replied. What? Come on. Why can't you help me sensei? Naruto yelled. Calm down, Naruto. I believe that Gaara is a much more dangerous opponent than Neji. I believe you can beat Neji, but Gaara will kill Sasuke if H doesn't get my undivided attention. Besides, I've already chosen someone to train you while I train Sasuke. Kakashi explained. Really? Who? It is I, said Ebisu, walking towards them. Naruto and Ebisu were at the hot springs. Ebisu explained to Naruto that he needed to work on his chakra control. And the best way to start was the water walking technique. Naruto had just finished mastering the technique when he noticed someone chuckling by the fence. Hey, Naruto yelled, pointing towards an old man crouched down and peeping. Are you peeping there, old man? Asked Ebisu, adjusting his glasses. I will not allow such disreputable behavior. Ebisu charged towards the old man, only to be knocked unconscious by a very large summoned toad's tongue. Once Naruto confirmed that his stand-in sensei was out cold, he yelled at the old man. Hey, you knocked out my stand-in sensei. You need to take responsibility and train me in his place. You're kidding, right? I don't have time to babysit little brats, replied th old man. You mean, peeping on those girls on the other side of that fence? Naruto yelled. Ah, no, why'd you do that? Because, you need to take responsibility for knocking out that closet pervert. That's why. And why should I? From what I saw, you mastered that water walking technique. Because, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. And I'm going to be Hokage someday. So this is Naruto. Brat's grown a lot since I last saw him. Chances are that his sensei is Kakashi. I'll need to talk to him later. I highly doubt that kid. Not if you're only just now walking on water. Hey, who do you think you are to judge me, huh? Me? I'm Jiraiya, Toad Mountain Sage, of Mount Myoboku. Yelled the old man, doing a silly dance in the process. What? This old pervert is my dad's sensei and my godfather? You've got to be kidding me. Naruto took out a smoke bomb and threw it at the ground. Why the hell did he do that? I guess he decided to give up, once he realized who I am. Now time to Ge-ba, whoa, wah. Jiraiya thought, dodging the kunai thrown. The next thing he knew, he was on his ass holding his face. Once the smoke cleared up, Jiraiya yelled. What the hell was that for you little, huh? Jiraiya noticed that Naruto wasn't there anymore. Where did he go? Sigh, I don't know what that was about, but I have a hunch that Kakashi might. With that, Jiraiya went in search of Kakashi. Naruto appeared inside his apartment, having used the flying Raijin jutsu. Once he punched Jiraiya. That son of a bitch. I'm his student's son, and he won't teach me? Ah, fuck him, Naruto taught. The day after Naruto confronted the third Hokage and Kakashi, he asked Kakashi who Jiraiya was. Kakashi told him that he was not just the fourth sensei, but Naruto's godfather as well. Naruto didn't take it lightly, he was angry at Jiraiya for not being there. And today, after what Jiraiya said after hearing his name, just made it worse. Naruto left to go to his squad's training ground, to blow off some steam. Kakashi and Sasuke were at a large training ground. The terrain was all rock, no grass or trees. Just a large tower-like rocks. Alright, that's enough for today, Sasuke. You did well, said Kakashi. Sasuke replied, leaving to grab a bite to eat. Is there anything you need from me, Lord Jiraiya? Kakashi asked, once Sasuke was out of hearing and sight. Actually, there is. Jiraiya replied, jumping out of his hiding place, landing next to Kakashi. I met Naruto earlier. What's his deal? Sigh, you are. Jiraiya was confused with what Kakashi meant. He found out about his parents a few weeks ago. He found letters that were left behind by those two. He was furious when he found out that you, me and Lord Hokage knew and never told him. It's worse for you though. He asked who you were, aside from his father's sensei. And you told him that I'm his godfather. Is he still angry at you and sensei? Jiraiya asked, leaving out that he pretended not to teach Naruto anything. Not nearly as much as he was when he found out. But you being his godfather and never seeing you, has him feeling you abandoned him. Kakashi explained. Kakashi looked at him. Jiraiya looked deep in thought. Kakashi then noticed some dried blood, coming from Jiraiya's nose. Let me guess. Threw down a smoke bomb, a kunai at you, and then you suddenly got hit in the face, right? Kakashi asked, snapping from his train of thought, surprised that Kakashi could guess what exactly happened. How do you know that, Kakashi? Jiraiya asked. Naruto has mastered that jutsu about 2 years ago in November. Kakashi answered, with an eye smile. Jiraiya was thinking, trying to figure out which jutsu Kakashi meant. Then it suddenly dawned on him. You're kidding? He mastered the flying Raijin jutsu. Yay. The letters from his were with the scroll, but he missed the first time. It's been about 3 years now. Hey, he's not the brightest, is he? No, but he did master one of the most powerful jutsu in the world. Anyway, what are you going to do about him? I'll make it up to him somehow. But it's best to wait till tomorrow, so he calms down a bit. Said Jiraiya. The next morning, Naruto was at the training grounds again. Naruto has been training in his wind-style jutsu when he heard a voice. You know, there's an easier way, said Jiraiya, walking on to the training grounds. Fuck off, you perverted bastard. Naruto replied, in a calm and collected voice. Sigh, look, I talked to Kakashi. He told me that you knew everything. He told me you felt abandoned, and I don't blame you. Once I heard your name, I knew who you were. I only pretended not to have an interest in training you. I want to make it up to you, no matter how long it takes. Jiraiya explained. Scoff, yay, right. And I don't have the 9 tails sealed away in my gut, said Naruto, not believing in a word what he meant. I'm serious. Use your shadow clones with you during your wind-style training. Any knowledge they gain is transferred to you once they disperse. That'll help you master wind-style a lot faster. Naruto turned around and looked at him, with a skeptical look on his face. Prove it. Shadow clone jutsu. Now, you make one. Shadow clone jutsu. There, now what? Naruto asked. Our shadow clones will now go into the woods. What happens there will come to you once your clone disperses. Jiraiya replied. A minute later, the clones dispersed. Looks like you own me ramen, said Naruto. Damn, yay, you believe me now? Asked Jiraiya. Yay, I guess, but I still don't forgive you. Yay, I thought so. It was about 3 in the morning, and Naruto was inside Hinata's hospital room. Naruto wasn't sure how Kurenai would act towards him after what happened during the preliminaries. Truth is, Naruto blamed himself for what happened to Hinata. Hinata began to stir. It wasn't long before she opened her eyes, and the first thing she saw was Naruto. Gasp, Naruto? What are you doing here? Hinata asked. Sorry, I would have been here last night, but something came up. Naruto replied. But why are you here now? I didn't want to come here during the day, because of your sensei. She probably hate me for what happened. I'm really sorry, Hinata. I didn't think you'd get this injured. I'm really sorry, Hinata, said Naruto, tears beginning to fall from his eyes. It wasn't your fault, Naruto. Ikazeto continue fighting, you just gave me the courage to do so. And Kurenai sensei is upset, but she doesn't hate you. She's glad that you give me such confidence. Yay, but you could have died. Honestly, I kinda hate myself for making you continue that fight. It's okay if you blame me too, Hinata. No, you shouldn't hate yourself. Just be. Because you gave me the confidence to continue, doesn't mean it's your fault. I don't blame you, Naruto. I never will. Naruto became silent. He didn't know what to think. He knew Hinata was right, but he still blamed himself. Sigh, I don't know what to think, Hinata. I mean, you got a point. But I just can't help but blame myself. I pushed my girlfriend into taking the Chunin exams. If I hadn't done that then. Naruto, stop bamming yourself. Yes, why? You gave me confidence to take the exams. Yes, you gave me confidence for the second stage. And yes, you gave the confidence to fight my cousin who was much stronger. But it was all my choice. I had the choice to do all those things. I didn't have to take the exams. It wasn't just you, Naruto, it was the both of us. If you want to blame yourself, then blame me as well. Hinata had sat up when she spoke, and had taken Naruto's face in her hands. Naruto couldn't take his eyes away from Hinata's. Something in her eyes just captivated him. Once he processed everything she said, he was shocked. She told him to blame her as well for what happened. He just couldn't do that. I can't do that, Hinata. I can't blame you, even a little. Then what makes you think I can blame you? I don't blame myself for my choices, and neither should you. Sigh, I guess you're right. But I still feel guilty about what happened. Sigh, it'll go away. If it means that much to you, then I forgive you. Hinata said, trying to make him feel better. Really? Naruto asked. Yes. Even though Naruto still felt guilty, he couldn't help but feel glad that Hinata forgave him. So he did something he's never done before. He took Hinata's face gently into his hands, and kissed her on the lips. Hinata was shocked. It was so sudden. Recovering from her shock, she kissed him back. Eventually they parted, blushing like ripe tomatoes. Y.uk. Kissed me, on the lips? Why? Hinata asked, her full-blown stutter returning. I couldn't help it. I just felt so happy that you forgave me. I'm sorry. Naruto replied. I'm not. Huh? I'm not sorry that why. UK. Kissed me. Said Hinata, a small smile on her face. The smile just made Naruto's heart pound harder. Hee. I guess I shouldn't be sorry for that neither, huh? Naruto said, with a smile on his face as well. Hinata just shook her head, knowing that he didn't blame himself for kissing her. Curious about something, Hinata asked. Why? You said something came up yesterday. What was it? Naruto's smile dropped. My godfather is inside the village. Naruto had already told Hinata about his Jiraiya, and how he felt about him. Gasp. Why? You mean Lord Jiraiya? Why did he show up? Hinata asked. I don't know, and I don't care. He knows that I know, thanks to Kakashi-sensei. But I just can't forgive him that easily. But he does want to make it up to me. He gave me some tips to master my wind style faster. It seems to be working so far. Naruto answered. I see. It's the least he can do. Besides, I'm sure he had his reasons why he did what he did. But it's great that he wants to make things up to you. Yay, I know. But still, it doesn't excuse him for not being there. I know. But he's trying. They continued talking until an hour before dawn, because that's when Naruto had to leave for training. Before Naruto left, however, he gave Hinata another kiss on the lips. It was now the day of the finals. The contestants were in the middle of the stadium, well, all except Dosu. Eventually, a ninja in a standard Junin outfit with a bandana-style headband and a senbon in his mouth walked up to the contestants. I'm Genma Shiranui, I'll be your proctor for the final stage. The rules are the same as they were in the preliminaries. The fight continues until one of you is out cold or admits defeat. Killing is frowned upon, but not forbidden. I might step in if the situation calls for it, but don't count on it. Also, there has been a slight change to the match card. Genma explained, holding up the new matchup table. The only thing that changed was that Shikamaru was now fighting Temari. Dosu was no longer a part of it for some unknown reason. Now, Naruto Uzumaki and Neji Hyuga, you two stay. The rest of you go up to the contestant booth and wait for your turn to fight. Ordered Genma. Everyone left the stadium floor, except those told to stay. Watch closely, Hanabi. Neji has a more powerful Byakugan than your sister's, perhaps more powerful than yours. Said Hiyashi Hyuga. Sigh. Is that really true, father? Asked Hanabi. Yes. The boy has no chance against Neji. So Naruto's against Neji, huh? You think he'll keep his word and win? Asked Asuma. Yes. You're forgetting how fast Naruto can move. It may be difficult, but I believe Naruto can win this. Kurenai replied. You got a point. Naruto against Neji, huh? Ino asked. Yay. Sakura replied. So what's Naruto's secret? How does he move so fast? No idea. Oh come on, Sakura. There's no way Naruto improved that fast. Just like there's no way that you don't know how he moves that fast. I mean your teammates, you have to know. Ino said, not believing Sakura's lack of knowledge for a second. I don't know, Ino. I really don't. All I know is that he somehow managed to get that fast, doesn't mean I know how. Sakura replied, annoyed that she agreed to keep Naruto's secret. Sigh, fine, I'll drop it. For now. Ready, you two? Asked Genma. Hold on a second, Naruto said. What's your problem with Hinata? Naruto asked. He already knew the answer thanks to Hinata, but he needed to keep up appearances. That's none of your business. Neji replied. Maybe so, but I still want to know. Fine. If you want to know so bad, I'll tell you about the Hyuga clan's destiny of hatred. Neji then went on explaining why he hated the main house. He explained the kidnapping attempt on Hinata from the hidden cloud. How his father was sacrificed for killing the cloud's head ninja in place of Hinata's father. The true killer of the hidden cloud's ninja. Even about the caged bird seal. So you hate Hinata most of all, because she couldn't fight off a Junin at 3 years old? So you could have done that? You're a fucking idiot. So what, your dad was killed. There are people out there that suffered a lot more, and a lot worse than you have. Naruto said, pissed at Neji's attitude. Like you would know? You know nothing about having a mark that separates you from everyone else. Naruto looked at the ground. He visualized being alone, being glared at by all the villagers. Oh yay, I know how that is. Naruto then looked up towards Neji. So? Big deal. I'm still going to kick your fucking sorry ass. I'm ready. So am I. I'll show you that you can't fight destiny. Begin, Genma called out. Naruto threw 3 kunai at Neji, then immediately began hand signs. Wind style. Great breakthrough jutsu. Naruto called out. The jutsu blew Neji back, causing him to land on his back. But Neji quickly rolled back up to his feet. Awesome as cigarette fell from his mouth. Since when can Naruto use wind style? I have no idea. Is this his secret? No, he'd hide it with smoke bombs. It's his speed that's the mystery, Kurenai replied, thought. Wind style. Naruto can use wind style. Ino asked, astonished at what she saw. Since when can he use wind style? He started training for it a few weeks before the Chunin exams. Sakura replied. Sakura didn't want to let Ino know that she could use lightning style. Sakura managed to learn one lightning style jutsu, but Kakashi told her never to use it against a leaf comrade. Kakashi said that he copied that jutsu from a hidden cloud ninja during the Third Great Ninja War. What? That jerk. He's been holding back on me more than I thought. What else can that loser do? Kiba asked, sitting next to Hinata. Well, at least I am sitting next to Hinata. Don't know, Kiba. Lied Hinata. Well, let's just hope that Naruto keeps it up. Or else he's dead. No one ever said you could use wind style. When did you learn that? Neji asked. Before the Chunin exams. And no one said anything, because everyone that knew was on my team. Naruto replied, not mentioning that Hinata knew about it as well. No matter, I'll still win this. Neji charged in, this time cautious about Naruto's long-range jutsu. Naruto pulled out 2 kunai, and focused his chakra in them. Neji saw this and stopped in his tracks. Nice try, but I won't recklessly charge in so you can cut me with your wind-style chakra. I'm not an idiot like you are. Apparently, you're not, Naruto yelled. Naruto focused even more chakra into the kunai, resulting in a large chakra blades extending to about 10 feet. Naruto swung one of his kunai, forcing Neji to jump up high to avoid getting cut in half. Not over yet, Naruto yelled, swinging his other kunai at Neji. HMPF, nice try. Rotation. A large sphere of chakra surrounded Neji. The 2 chakras collided, causing them to repel each other. Neji landed on the ground, waiting for Naruto's next attack. Do you see now? You can't touch me, even with your long-range jutsu. It is your destiny to lose to me, Neji said, smirking with confidence. Can't touch me, even with your long-range jutsu, huh? You really are an idiot. Did you already forget that you got knocked on your ass when the match started? Naruto taunted. Neji lost his smirk. That was just a fluke. Nothing more. Still happened, even if it was a fluke. But me knocking you down about 10 pegs won't be a fluke when I kick your ass. Try it. Neji encouraged, regaining his smirk. Naruto noticed that Neji was standing near the tree that had his kunai lodged in it. Time to finish this. Naruto put away one of his kunai and pulled out most of his smoke bombs. Naruto threw his smoke bombs around the stadium, consuming everything in smoke. Why would he do that, father? The Byakugan can see through smoke, asked Hanabi. I doubt he knows that, Hanabi. He had the worst grades in the academy. Hiyashi answered. I see. But why would Hinata like someone who isn't intelligent? Most of the Hyuga clan knew about Hinata's crush on Naruto, and have warned her to stay away from him. Although before Hinata took the Chunin exam, Hanabi and her father noticed that Hinata seemed more confident. They just didn't know why. Sakura, why does he do that when he's about to use his speed? Ino asked. I don't know, Ino. Now be quiet, I want to see what happens next. Sakura replied, avoiding the topic. Not like there's anything to see. Neji could see Naruto clearly, as if the smoke weren't even there. Until suddenly, Naruto vanished. What the? Neji then saw Naruto reappear as soon as he disappeared. Unfortunately, he couldn't react. Naruto quickly grabbed Neji's wrist and kicked him as hard as he could. This process repeated, varying from punches and kicks. The smoke started to die down, so Naruto had to end it. So Naruto threw Neji high into the air. He then threw another smoke bomb at Neji and the other at his feet. Both went off at the same time. Naruto flashed in front of Neji, knocking him back down with an axe kick. Take this. Naruto Uzumaki's flying Raijin barrage. How did he do that? He just kept disappearing and reappearing at the same time. How is that possible? Hanabi thought, having had her Byakugan active, unlike her father. Hanabi deactivated her Byakugan. What is it, Hanabi? Hiyashi asked, not noticing that her Byakugan was ever active. How did he do that, father? Hanabi asked. I don't know, but it doesn't matter right now. I'm more concerned with Neji's hatred for the main house. How did he do that, Lord Hokage? Asked the case cage. I don't know. He's not the brightest, but he is very talented. The third Hokage answered, lying to keep Naruto's jutsu a secret. Very impressive, Naruto. Hiding a jutsu like that in front of so many spectators. Very well done. Neji hit the ground hard, knocking the air out of him. I can't move. How did you do that? Neji asked. Naruto landed a few feet from Neji. Don't you have something else to worry about? Like how your self-predicted destiny was wrong. I failed the graduation exams 3 times, and it was the clone jutsu every time. I just thought you should know that, before you keep spouting that destiny shit. You can change your destiny too, because unlike me you're not a failure. Said Naruto. The winner is Naruto Uzumaki. Said Genma, calling the end of the match. The crowd cheered, over the stunning upset that took place. The medical ninja came and took Neji away, to ensure he didn't have any serious injuries. He did it, but how? Ino asked. Because he's too stupid to quit. How else do you think he could win? Sakura replied, avoiding the real reason. Of course she does think Naruto's stupid. Yay, you're right about that. The battlefield was now empty, minus Genma. Alright, one of our participants hasn't shown up yet, so we'll continue on to that next match. Kankuro and Shino Aburame, get down here. Shino was about to head down when he suddenly heard. Proctor, I forfeit. Kankuro yelled. TST. The winner by forfeit, Shino Aburame. The next match is Tamari of the Sand versus Shikamaru Nara. Genma called. Great. My opponent is a girl, again. Maybe I should forfeit too. Said Shikamaru. Come on Shikamaru, get your ass down there. Naruto yelled, shoving Shikamaru over the rail. Shikamaru landed with a asterisk thud. Damn that Naruto. Did he really need to do that? Shikamaru thought. When he suddenly saw Tamari charging at him with her fan drawn and ready to strike. Ah crap, what a drag. Shikamaru dodged the attack, and so began the match between cat and mouse. The two went back and forth taking advantage. Shikamaru eventually got her next to the trees on the other side of the field. Tamari was so focused on her opponent's shadow, that she didn't realize what happened next. Wah, what happened? Tamari asked. Look behind you, I'll let you. Shikamaru replied. When she looked behind her, Tamari saw a shadow coming from behind connected to her own. That's right, I distracted you with the shadow in front of you, and sent another around and behind you. So now you're at my mercy. Shikamaru explained. Tamari was worried about what Shikamaru was going to make her do. But she had to admit, she was impressed. She thought he was just a lazy bum. But this fight had proven otherwise to her. I give up, announced Shikamaru. What? Tamari yelled, not sure if she heard correctly. I hardly have much chakra left, and I can't really make you do anything at the moment because of that. Besides, going to the next round means I'll have to fight again. And that's just a drag. The winner is Tamari of the Sand. The crowd was in shock that someone would just give up when they had the win. Sasuke had finally shown up. Only this time his getup consisted of a one-piece black outfit, with the Uchiha clan symbol on his back. His right arm was bandaged, with some sort of snap straps above the bandages. His hair was a little longer as well. Sasuke and Gaara now stood across from each other, ready to fight. No need to ask if either of you are ready. Begin, said Genma. Sasuke charged in, aiming a punch. Gaara's sand formed a wall between Gaara and his attacker. Sasuke had seen this coming, so he decided not to hold back. Sasuke disappeared, just like Lee did during his match with Gaara. Gaara would have taken a beating if it weren't for his sand armor. Sasuke had proven very quickly that Gaara's sand shield was useless against him. Gaara didn't want to risk getting hurt, so he decided to enclose himself within a sand dome. His only link to the outside is an eye made of sand. Sasuke tried getting through the dome, but it was solid like rock. Fine, stay in there. I could use the time to get ready. Sasuke said, unsnapping one of the snaps on his arm. Jumping back onto the far wall, Sasuke made a series of hand signs. Sticking his hand in front of him, lightning-style chakra became visible in the palm of his hand. Gasp, isn't that lightning-style? Sakura asked. Yay, more specifically it's a jutsu I created. Kakashi replied. What's the jutsu called, sensei? Asked Sakura. It's called Chidori, or a lightning blade. It's a nickname the jutsu earned, because Kakashi once used it to cut a lightning bolt in half before it hit the ground. Guy answered. Really? How come you didn't teach me that jutsu, Kakashi-sensei? Sakura asked. Just because you're also a lightning type, doesn't mean you can master this jutsu. The Sharingan is a key part to this jutsu, without it you won't be able to see your opponent's counter. Also, you don't have the speed necessary to perform this jutsu. I see. Wait, you're a lightning type, just like Sasuke? Why didn't you use any lightning-style jutsu against me, Sakura? Ino asked. Kakashi-sensei said it's deadly, and I should never use it against a leaf comrade. Sakura explained. Oh, that makes sense. Sasuke finally had his jutsu ready. He charged towards Gaara, dragging the jutsu on the ground, leaving a small trench. The dome began to react by sprouting spikes in order to pierce through Sasuke. But with Sasuke's Sharingan, he could weave around it, resulting in Sasuke's Ichidori to pierce through Gaara's sand dome. Wah! What is this? It's so warm and wet, said Gaara. He suddenly felt a shooting pain in his shoulder, and he began to realize what happened. Never experiencing pain before, Gaara began to panic. Blood. It's my blood. Sasuke attempted to pull out his arm, but something seemed to be holding onto it. Sasuke focused his lightning chakra to his entrapped hand, resulting in whatever was holding it to let go. Once free, Sasuke jumped back to gain some distance. Sasuke saw a weird eye through the hole he made, but it was gone as quick as it appeared. The dome eventually cracked and fell apart. Boom. Chapter 14. Naruto vs. Gaara, Funeral for the Heroes and Busted? Naruto currently stood across from Gaara's monstrous form, atop tree branches. Naruto remembered his encounter, his and Shikamaru's, with Gaara in the hospital. Gaara had attempted to kill Lee. If it weren't for Guy interfering, there would have been a fight. Naruto was shocked to find out that he and Gaara had similar pasts. The only difference is that Gaara was alone for a lot longer. Man, Sasuke is really beat up. This is going to be tough. I forgot to get my kunai from the stadium. Damn it, if I knew this was going to happen, I would have prepared more kunai with my seal. I'm gonna have to make every move count, Naruto thought, frustrated at the situation. Get out of my way, Gaara yelled, charging directly towards Sasuke. Naruto immediately reacted by jumping up, twisting his body 360 degrees, giving him some momentum to give Gaara a sideward bicycle kick in the face. It's a flashy soccer kick. Gaara got up from the same spot he just came from. This had been the second time Naruto had kicked Gaara in the face. Gaara glared at Naruto, knowing he wasn't getting to Sasuke without getting through Naruto. Sakura, take Sasuke and run. I'll take care of Gaara, Naruto yelled, without turning around. Okay, give him a whack from me for hitting my Sasuke, Sakura said, picking up Sasuke. You got it, Naruto replied. You want them, you gotta get through me. So bring it on you, Sandy Psychotic Fuck, Shadow Clone Jutsu, Naruto yelled. Die, Naruto Uzumaki, Gaara yelled as he charged towards Naruto. Naruto jumped up, dodging Gaara's transformed arm. Wind style. Great breakthrough jutsu. The jutsu hit Gaara's back, causing him to break through the branch Naruto had just been standing on. Gaara landed on a branch about 20 feet below the one he had just crashed through. Looking up, he saw Naruto looking back down at him with a smirk. Naruto began making another set of hand signs. Wind style, wind blades jutsu. Gaara jumped away in an attempt to dodge Naruto's jutsu. Unfortunately, Gaara's tail was 3/4 cut off, with the cut off portion turning into sand. I'll kill you. Wind style. Sandstorm Devitation, Gaara yelled. As the name of the jutsu suggests, a sandstorm blew towards Naruto, breaking off branches on the way. Naruto saw mouths open all over Gaara's body and prepared to dodge. When the jutsu came, Naruto dodged, avoiding the jutsu by hiding behind a tree. Jumping out the other side, Naruto threw a kunai with a smoke bomb at Gaara. Hiding behind another tree, Naruto prepared his new jutsu. Gaara blocked the kunai with his arm, just before the smoke bomb went off. Blinded by the smoke, Gaara didn't notice the sudden appearance of Naruto with a blue orb of chakra in his hand. Rasengan Naruto rammed the jutsu into Gaara's gut, sending him spinning and crashing into the ground. But not before getting his hand on Gaara's right shoulder. No way. He's beating Gaara. He's actually beating Gaara. How is that even possible? But Gaara hasn't even let that thing take over. But I got to hand it to him. No one has ever pushed Gaara this far. Temari thought, surprised that anyone could push Gaara so far. Lying within his 3 feet deep hole, Gaara was thought, this can't be. This can't be happening. There's no way I can lose to a guy like him. Gaara yelled. A giant pillar of sand erupted, rising above the trees. Just like Gaara's temper did. Suddenly Naruto was staring up at a giant, 150-meter tall, tanuki make of sand with blue markings all over. Oh shit, Naruto said, realizing how much tougher everything got. Oh no, he's going to lieutenant that thing, take full control. I have to get out of here, Temari thought, looking around for the best possible route away from the area. Gaara brought his hands up and performed one hand sign. Play possum jutsu. Once the jutsu was set, Gaara's arms went limp. Yaha. I'm finally free. Let me kill something, Shukaku yelled. Shit, there's only one thing left to do. It's a good thing I had my shadow clones working on different jutsu at once. Even if I did get some major headaches. Naruto said, biting his thumb. Summoning jutsu. With a huge poof, Naruto stood atop a giant toad that was roughly the same size as Shukaku. You again? What do you want? Asked Gamabunta, the chief toad. Hey boss, how about it? Will you fight alongside me today? Naruto asked. Before Gamabunta could answer, Shukaku decided to make his decision for him. Wind style, air bullet. Gamabunta jumped in order to dodge the attack. Why you sneaky, oversized sand rat, yelled Gamabunta, preparing an attack of his own. Water style. Aqua bullet. Gamabunta yelled, firing 2 large orbs of water. Wind style. Air bullet. Shukao yelled, firing 3 large orbs of air. The jutsus were canceling each other out, but the third air bullet wasn't. The last air bullet hit Gamabunta in the face, knocking him down to ground with a thunderous crash. That hurt. You'll pay for that. Alright Naruto, I need you to give him a good whack in the face. That should wake that kid up and put him in control. He'll be easier to beat then. Otherwise he'll just get stronger, said Gamabunta, as he continued to dodge and counter Shukaku's attacks. Right, but we need to get a good grip on him. Naruto replied. Then we'll just use a combined transformation. Think of something with fangs and claws. Gamabunta answered. Temari couldn't believe what heckled see. She wasn't able to see Naruto or Gaara, due to the distance she managed to obtain. That kid can summon something like that? How is that possible? That kid is not Genin level. Just what is he? Meanwhile, Sakura was almost to the village with Sasuke. Sensing a huge pulse of chakra, Sakura stopped on top of a large tree. Gasp, what's going on over there? Sakura asked, seeing a large tanuki and an equally sized toad fighting one another. I think Naruto summoned that toad, said Sasuke. What? Since when can Naruto use summoning jutsu? Sakura asked. He must have learned it during the month break. But the question is, from who did he learn it? Sasuke asked. I don't know, Sakura replied. Sasuke insisted on watching the rest of the battle from where they were at, so that if Naruto somehow failed, they could warn the village of the threat. Suddenly they saw a large poof of smoke. And from that smoke came the 9-tailed fox. What the hell is that? Sakura screamed. It's a transformation jutsu. Naruto transformed into the 9 tails. It must be for some sort of plan. Sasuke explained. Naruto and Gamabunta latched onto Shukaku by biting him in left shoulder and clawing its arms. Now's your chance, kid. Right, Naruto replied. Throwing down a smoke bomb and using the flying Raijin jutsu, Naruto disappeared from Gamabunta's head, dispelling the jutsu, and reappearing on Shukaku's right shoulder. Naruto took advantage of the situation and jumped towards Gaara's exposed upper body. "Wake the fuck up, you shithead," Naruto yelled, punching Gaara in the face. "No, come on. I just got here," Shukaku yelled. Why you? I'll kill you," Gaara yelled, enraged that he was woken up. Gaara began to control the sand, having it wrap around Naruto's ankles. Naruto had to act fast, otherwise he would be squashed. He pulled out his last kunai with a smoke bomb attached. Gaara was confident that Naruto couldn't move, he only blocked the kunai and letting the smoke bomb go off. Naruto just smirked, he knew Gaara would think that he had him trapped for good. Naruto took advantage of this, and created the Rasengan. Disappearing and reappearing Naruto, once again, rammed the jutsu into Gaara's gut. The giant sand creature began crack. Soon all the sand fell apart, causing Naruto and Gaara to fall. Since Naruto's jutsu was still being rammed into Gaara's gut, Gaara shot straight to the ground. Naruto had landed on top of a tree. "Well, looks like you got this from here. I'll take my leave." "Alright, thanks a lot, chief," Naruto replied. With that, Gamabunta left with a massive poof. Naruto had jumped from branch to branch before finally landing on the ground, 20 feet from where Gaara was lying. Gaara's body hurt. It hurt so much that all he could do was move his head towards where he heard Naruto land. Gaara's eyes shot wide open, seeing that Naruto was beginning to walk towards him. "It hurts, doesn't it? Being alone." "I know, because we're the same," said Naruto, causing Gaara's eyes to open even further. Why would you go so far for anyone other than yourself?" Gaara asked, with panic in his voice. "Because they saved me from myself. I was all alone, but then came Iruka-sensei. Soon after came Kakashi-sensei and my teammates. But before them, came someone very special to me. She was the first person I could trust. They saved me, gave me a purpose for living. And if anyone threatens them, I'll stop them. Even if I had to kill them." Naruto stopped 5 feet from Gaara while he was talking. When he finished talking, both Temari and Kankuro jumped down next to Gaara. They both looked ready to fight. All three looked like they were about to start a fight, when Gaara suddenly spoke up. "That's enough. Let's go." Temari kept her eyes on Naruto, while Kankuro looked over his shoulder at Gaara. "I can't believe it. He's completely exhausted." "Alright," said Kankuro, turning around to pick up Gaara. The three sand genin then left, heading in the opposite direction of the Leaf Village. Sigh, "Oh man, that was tough. That fight almost took all my chakra with the summoning jutsu," said Naruto. Naruto turned and headed back to the village. Gaara was thinking about what Naruto had told him. He couldn't argue with what was said, since he fought for the opposite reasons. Yet he lost, believing that his reasons were right. Gaara decided to try it Naruto's way, starting with his siblings. "Kankuro, Temari, I'm sorry." His siblings were shocked that Gaara suddenly apologizes. It was Kankuro who eventually answered. "No problem. Man, what did that kid do to Gaara?" Gaara apologized? It must have something to do with that blonde kid, Temari thought. A few days later, the village was in attendance to a funeral. The funeral wasn't just held for the third Hokage, but all the others who died protecting the village from the sound invasion. Naruto was sad that his grandfather figure had died protecting the village from Orochimaru. Looking over, he saw Konohamaru crying with Iruka trying to comfort him. "Iruka-sensei, why do they do it? Why do people risk their lives to protect others?" Naruto asked. He knew why, he just wanted Konohamaru to hear it. Well, when someone dies, all earthly attachments are broken. But all emotional still remain. Even if you're not blood, everyone in the village is family. It's to protect those bonds you share with others, that you would do everything you can to protect the ones you love. Everyone who died protecting the village from the attack is a hero. Iruka explained. 2 days have passed. Hinata and Naruto were finishing up their date, the same way as usual. Sitting atop the Hokage monument, they sat next to each other holding the other's hand, unaware of the pair of eyes lingering from the trees behind them. "How are you holding up, Naruto? You know, with the third Hokage dying?" Hinata asked. "Alright, I guess. I just never thought he'd die. He seemed so strong, even for his old age." Naruto replied, sadness in his voice. "I know, but he did it to protect you as well. He cared for both you and the village," said Hinata, comforting Naruto. "I know. Thanks Hinata." Naruto replied, leaning in towards Hinata. You're welcome, Ru, too. They closed the distance between each other, eventually locking lips. The figure in the trees couldn't believe their eyes. Seeing the most unlikely pair, right there kissing one another. The figure had followed the two the entire date. They wondered why they were under a transformation jutsu. Now it made sense. The Hyuga heiress and the village pariah, dating, explained the slight increase in confidence in Hinata. But seeing what's in front on them shows that there was more than what met the eye. Before now, anyway. Having seen enough, the figure jumped out to confront the two. Stop. Explain why you two are sneaking around like this. The figure yelled. Tuning around, Hinata gasped, recognizing the figure immediately. What are you doing here? Hinata asked. Who the hell is this, Hinata? Naruto asked. Both were panicking about what this would mean about their secret relationship. Chapter 15. Relationships end? Hanabi? What or why? You doing here? Hinata asked. I could say the same thing. Hanabi replied. Wait, Hanabi? As in your little sister, Hanabi? This little brat is your sister? Naruto asked, surprised to be meeting his girlfriend's sister like this. Hey, who are you calling a little brat? I'm a member of the Hyuga clan. Hanabi yelled, irritated that she was called a brat. Who does this kid think he is? No one has ever called me a brat before. Disrespectful ingrate, Hanabi thought. Who do you think I'm calling a little brat? And I know who you are. Hinata told me all about you and your clan. And personally, I don't care if you're from a clan or not. If you act like a brat, I'll call you a brat. Naruto replied. HMPF, fine. But I want to know why you two are sneaking around. Hanabi demanded. I don't KN. No what your talking about? Stuttered Hinata. Fine. If you won't tell me, then I'll tell father. With that, Hanabi turned and began running toward Hyuga compound. Naruto had other plans though. Naruto threw a kunai towards Hanabi. The kunai zipped right past Hanabi's head. Hanabi turned around to see who had thrown the kunai, but she didn't see Naruto. Suddenly, Hanabi's had a hand cover her mouth and her arms held tight to her sides by an orange-clad arm. HMPF. Hanabi yelled, or attempted to anyway. Lol. Listen, Hanabi. Calm down already. Naruto yelled. Hanabi did as told, knowing what Naruto could do from this position. Alright, now listen. I'll tell you why we're sneaking around, but only if you agree not to tell anyone. Alright? Huh? What was that? Naruto asked, removing his hand to understand what Hanabi tried to say. I said, on one condition. Hanabi answered. What would that be? You had to tell me how you beat my cousin, Neji. Sorry, but that's something you'll find out later, if I trust you enough to tell you. Do you trust her enough? Hanabi asked, referring to Hinata. Well, she found out, somehow. But she didn't tell anyone before she talked to me about it first. And that kinda made me trust her. Naruto answered, slowly getting annoyed with the little girl. What? I'm her sister. Tell me, or I'll tell my father Abu. Hanabi began, before Naruto interrupted. I said, I need to trust you first. Naruto yelled, effectively shutting her up. Listen, the option still stands. Please just accept it. If you gain my trust, I'll tell you how I beat Neji. Deal? Naruto asked. Hanabi thought about it for a moment, before asking. And if I don't agree? Then what? Sigh, look, your sister makes me very happy, and I'd like to think that I make her happy as well. Right, Hinata? Naruto replied. Oh, of course you make me happy, Naruto. You shouldn't ever have to second-guess that, said Hinata, with a smile on her face. Hanabi saw the smile on Hinata's face, and saw that it was genuine. She then looked up towards Naruto. She couldn't get that good a look at him due to the angle, but she could tell that there was a smile on his face as well. Hanabi looked down, and reluctantly agreed. Fine, it's a deal, but you better tell me the truth, and let me go. Naruto let Hanabi go, and began explaining once she turned around without running away. Sigh, look, Hinata has liked me for a long time now. And, knew that part that already. The whole Hyuga clan knew. I want to know why, you two is sneaking around. Hanabi interrupted. I was getting to that. Sheesh. Anyway, I guess I finally noticed Hinata. I got to know her, and I started liking her. I didn't know if she liked me back, so I didn't ask her out at first. It wasn't until my first C-ranked turned A-ranked mission where one of my teammates almost died. It made me realize that life can be too short. So I decided to try and ask Hinata out. Even if she didn't like me, I knew that I at least tried. Turns out she really did like me, and we've been dating ever since. Anyway, that's about it. Naruto explained. Okay, that explains why you're going out. But not why you're sneaking around, keeping it a secret. Hanabi said, informing him that she wasn't satisfied. It's because he isn't very well liked among most of the village. They wouldn't accept our relationship, just like the Hyuga clan. Once everyone acknowledges Naruto, they'll accept our relationship as well. But until then, we're acting like I'm still too shy to talk to him and he's oblivious to my feelings. We don't like doing things that way, but it's the only way. For now anyway, Hinata explained. Hanabi thought about everything she was just told. As much as she wanted to argue with what they said, she realized that there was nothing she had to argue with. But then she wondered if the dislike towards Naruto had something to do with his parents. But what about you parents? Who were they? Are they the cause for everyone disliking you? Hanabi asked. Naruto looked down. He didn't trust Hanabi with that knowledge, so he had to lie and hope she believed him. I don't know. The third Hokage said he'd find out, but he died before he could. All I was told is that I was found in the forest, all alone outside the Leaf Village. All that was there was a note with the name, Naruto, on it. Didn't anyone adopt you, at least? Hanabi asked. No, no one even acknowledged my existence. That's why I started pranking people. I didn't care what kind of recognition I got, as long as I got some. Naruto replied. Hanabi looked down with a sad look on her face. She had an entire clan, so she didn't know what it was like not to have anyone who cared. I'm sorry, I didn't know. Hanabi said. It's okay. It's just water under the bridge, now, I guess. Naruto replied. The three made their ways off the Hokage monument, where they went separate ways. But not before Naruto gave Hinata one last kiss on the lips, before heading to Ichiraku's for ramen. Hinata was walking Hanabi home. Every time Hinata and Naruto had a date, Hinata would spend the night at her sensei's. Hinata didn't really want to impose, but her sensei wanted to help her hide her relationship with Naruto. Hanabi was curious about something, and the thought of it made her blush. Sister? Hanabi asked. Huh? What is it, Hanabi? Hinata asked, curious as to why her sister was blushing. What does it feel like to be kissed on the lips? Hanabi asked, with a slight stutter. Why? Are you interested in a boy? No, I saw. Well, you know. And I was just curious. Oh, well, it felt really nice. It's kind of hard to explain. I mean, with me my age. Heart flutters uncontrollably. But in a good way. I'm sorry that I can't be of more help. Hinata explained. It's okay. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Hanabi said, when the two were a short ways from the Hyuga compound. Good night, Hanabi. Hinata replied, before turning around heading towards her sensei's apartment. So, how'd it go? Kurenai asked, every time Hinata closed the door behind her after her date. It was good, except that Hanabi found us out. Hinata replied. What, did she tell your father? No, we made a deal with her. A deal? Kurenai asked, intrigued. She wanted to know why we were sneaking around, and if we didn't tell her she'd tell our father. So we told her about how Naruto wasn't liked by the villagers, and that no one knew who his parents were. Hinata explained. You didn't tell her about the 9 tails, did you? No. She asked if Naruto's parents were why he was disliked. Naruto told her that no one knew and that the third Hokage was trying to find out and tell him, but he died before that. I see. Did she leave it at that? Asked Kurenai, knowing that if it were her she would have continued asking more questions. Well, she did want to know how Naruto beat Neji. But we explained that it was a matter of Naruto trusting her first. Hinata answered. I see, speaking of trust. Sai, huh? What? Kurenai asked. Kurenai-sensei. You know that I trust you, but it's not about me trusting you. It's about Naruto trusting you. I don't doubt that you trust me, Hinata. It's that for almost 2 months now, Naruto doesn't trust me enough to keep his secrets. Even though I've been helping you to keep your relationship a secret. I know I shouldn't be prying as much as I have been. It's just that my curiosity is getting to me, is all? Kurenai explained. I understand, sensei. I'll talk to Naruto about it, and see what he thinks. Alright? Yes. Thank you, Hinata. Chapter 16. A new journey begins. Naruto and Kurenai sat atop the Hokage monument. It was the middle of the day, and Naruto wasn't too thrilled about the talk he was aobit to have with her. Hell, he wouldn't even be having this talk if it weren't for Hinata. Flashback, you want to what? Naruto asked, shocked at the request made by his girlfriend. They were where they usually ended their dates. A view of the beautiful sunset, from on top of the Hokage monument. IW. Would like you to talk to Kurenai-sensei, about trusting her with your secret. Please? Hinata repeated. Please don't tell me she has been bugging you about what my secret jutsu is? Naruto asked, hoping that wasn't the case. His hopes went down the drain as he saw Hinata look away from him. Great, she did. Can't she be patient with that sort of thing? She has been patient, Naruto. That's why I think you should talk to her. Get to know her a little bit, without me being the middleman of sorts. Hinata explained. You're not asking because you're tired of her asking you about it, are you? Naruto asked, suspicious that that was the case. Well, little. But, I trust her with that kind secret, Naruto. It's not like you're telling her about your parentage. Besides, she has been like a big S sister towards me. Hinata answered, trying to convince him to at least talk to her sensei. True, that kind of knowledge would be more of a shock to her. And more dangerous if it gets out. Naruto then paused to think about Hinata's request. Figuring that heckled at least talk to her sensei, Naruto decided to play a little with her first. Nope. Not gonna happen. No way. Naruto said, with a smile on his face as he looks away trying to look defiant. But failing to do so. Gasp, but Naruto? Hinata began, before she saw the poorly hidden smile on Naruto's face. Why? You mean you'll talk to her? Hinata asked. And I was trying to trick you into thinking I wasn't. Haha. I'll talk to her, but it doesn't mean I'll tell her. Okay? Yes. Thank you, Naruto. End flashback. Kurenai could see the distant look in Naruto's eyes. She briefly wondered what he could be thinking of, but decided to begin the conversation. Otherwise they'd probably be here all day and night. So, is there something you wanted to talk to me about? Kurenai asked, knowing what the answer would be. Naruto snapped out of his little trance, barely catching what Kurenai had asked him. You know what we're gonna be talking about, Kurenai-sensei. Naruto stated. HN. Yay, you're right. Sorry, but if someone didn't say something, then we'd be here all day and night. And I'm not sure how Hinata would like it, if her boyfriend and sensei were out all night together like that. Ha ha ha, Kurenai said. Messing with Naruto like this seemed to be somewhat amusing. Hey, that's not what this is about, you pervert. You're like twice my age. And you're a Junin while I'm a Genin. That's not appropriate, you. Naruto yelled, before he was interrupted. Who are you calling pervert? And you shouldn't mention a woman's age like that, you brat. Kurenai yelled back. She didn't like being called a pervert, considering she doesn't like open perverts herself. Who do you think I'm calling pervert? You're Hinata's sensei. You shouldn't be having thoughts like that towards your student's boyfriend. It was supposed to be a joke. I didn't mean it like that. You're the one that took it that far. You're the one who took it too far, calling me a pervert. I hate perverts who are ridiculously open about being perverted, just for your information. For my info, huh? You hate perverts too? Naruto asked. OFCOU. Of course I hate perverts. But everyone is a little perverted. It's just the ones who openly peek on women and read those disgusting make-out series, in public no less. Kurenai replied, catching herself before she continued yelling. Yay, you mean the book my sensei reads all the time, and that the pervy sage writes? Pervy sage? Kurenai asked, curious about who Naruto was talking about. Yay, you know. He's one of the legendary Sannin Jiraiya. Naruto replied. Jiraiya? You mean he wrote those books? Yay, hence why I call him pervy sage. It drives him crazy, said Naruto, in a leaning over hand on the other side of mouth whispering kind of voice. Basically hinting toward her to call Jiraiya that when she sees him. Having caught on to the hint, she was now curious as to how he knew Jiraiya was the one who wrote those books. Naruto. How do you know that Lord Jiraiya is the one that wrote those books? Kurenai asked. Oh, I caught him peeping on women in the hot springs. So I yelled out loud to let the women on the other side know that there was a pervert peeking on them. Hee hee. Naruto explained with large grin planted on his face. Was that before or after you found out he wrote those books? Before. I got mad at him at some point afterwards. He came to me later and offered to train me for the finals of the Chunin exams. He trained you for the Chunin exams? That's quite an honor, even if he's a pervert. I'm assuming you found out he wrote those books sometime while he was training you? Kurenai asked. Yup, was all Naruto said. Kurenai looked up, holding the bridge of her nose. She couldn't believe what she had heard. Curious about what Naruto had said, she decided to ask her question. Naruto, what did you get mad at Lord Jiraiya for? It couldn't have been because he was peeking, could it? Naruto didn't want to tell her about Jiraiya being his godfather, so he lied. No, you see. Naruto then explained how Kakashi had Ebisu, closet pervert, to train him for the finals, and was later knocked out once he caught Jiraiya peeking. Then he went on about how he wanted Jiraiya to train him since he knocked out his temp, but Jiraiya refused. I see, was all Kurenai could say, whole staring at him with wide eyes. Kurenai was about to say something when Naruto decided get this meeting over and done with. I know how to use the flying Raijin jutsu. That's my secret jutsu. That's how I beat Kiba and Neji. Kurenai let what she just heard sink in. After about a moment, what? How do you know that jutsu? How long have you known that jutsu? How the hell did you even find that jutsu? It was supposed to have been lost? And, wait, you trust me the knowledge of your jutsu so easily? Kurenai yelled, before noticing that he seemed to trust her so easily. Yay, well, you'd probably never stop bugging me and Hinata. You hate open perverts like I do. And I had plenty of time to think it over before today. So it wasn't easy at all. I just thought that since the number one thing for a relationship to work is the same as a successful ninja squad. Trust. And well, if Hinata can truly trust you like a big sister, then who Minato trust you? Naruto explained. What make you think I'm like Hinata's big sister? Kurenai asked. She told me that the other day, when she asked me to talk to you whether or not I should tell you my secret jutsu. Anyway, ask Hinata the details. Just make sure you have security seals in your apartment when you do. I'm trusting you with this, Kurenai-sensei. Don't make me and Hinata regret this. The only ones who knows this are you, me, Hinata, Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke and Sakura. No one else can know, not even your other students or closest friends. Got it, Naruto said, with some killing intent added. Don't you raise your killing intent at me, young man. I promise, I won't tell anyone. And I'll have the security seals in my apartment active when I talk to Hinata. Good, thanks. I'll see you later, Kurenai-sensei, said Naruto, just before he vanished with a yellow flash towards his apartment. He must have done that, because he probably sensed my doubt about him being able to use that jutsu. Seems as though there's a new, secret yellow flash of the hidden leaf, Kurenai thought, with a smile on her face. Following his lead, somewhat, she left via Shunshin, appearing at the bottom of the Hokage monument. Now that that's out of the way, I can go get some Ichirakus now. Haven't had any lately because all that happened, said Naruto, locking the door behind himself. On his way to Ichiraku's, Naruto heard the usual whispers behind his back. This time though, some were positive while most others were negative. I can't believe he managed to beat Neji Hyuga, last year's rookie genin. I know, it's hard to believe. And he's kinda cute too. Are you kidding? That demon is getting too strong, if you ask me. Yay, and so soon after becoming a ninja too. This village can be in real danger if he gets too strong. I agree. Someone need to do something about this. Sigh. You'd think they'd be more grateful for saving them from Gaara. Oh well, I'll still protect this village, no matter what, Naruto thought, as he pulled the curtain back, entering Ichiraku's. Hey Tucci, 2 miso ramen please. No problem, Naruto. Haven't seen you in a while, been helping with repairs? Tucci asked. Yup, been training too. Don't wanna fall behind, right? Naruto replied. True, haha. Kurenai was walking around the village, until she bumped into someone. Literally. Sorry about that, Kurenai said. No problem, Kurenai, said Asuma. So, what had you so distracted? Oh, just thinking about how Naruto managed to beat the Sans Jinchuriki. That's all. Oh yay? Me too. Think it was the same way with Kiba and Neji? Asuma asked. I think there was more than just that Naruto used to beat him. Especially since that Gaara kid released his tailed beast completely. That's no easy task. Kurenai answered. Got a point. Any idea as to how he beat the others yet, though? No, I asked Naruto about it. But he's not saying anything. Something about not trusting others enough, or something like that, said Kurenai, remembering her promise to Naruto. Yay, I asked Kakashi about it. He claims he knows, but says that we should ask Naruto about. Then he said something similar about trusting others, or something. Sai seems like a drag to me, said Asuma. Shikamaru's getting to you, I see, said Kurenai, changing the topic. What makes you say that? Asuma asked. You've never claimed something to be a drag before. Whereas Shikamaru does, all the time. Kurenai explained. I guess you're right, Kurenai, said Asuma, holding his hand to his chin. HN? Hey, how's it going? Well, aren't you two getting along? Kakashi said, responding to Asuma greeting. Idiot, I was just on my way home when I bumped into Asuma, said Kurenai, turning her head with a slight blush on her face. So, what are you doing here, Kakashi? Asuma asked. Nothing much, just waiting on Sasuke, Kakashi replied, looking into the tea house. His fellow Junin catching the twitch of the pinky from one of the customers. It's unlike you to be early, Kakashi-sensei, said Sasuke, approaching the group of Junin. Looking into the tea house, Sasuke noticed 2 full cups of tea with no one nearby. You know, I'm not really in the mood for tea. Kakashi just looked toward his fellow Junin, receiving a curt nod in response to his silent message. Well, I just had to see it with my own eyes. You really do eat nothing but ramen, huh? Jiraiya asked, removing the curtain from his line of sight. PRFYFG? Naruto said, or attempted to, with a mouth full of noodles. Geez kid, can't you at least swallow your food before you speak? Said Jiraiya, criticizing Naruto's manners. So, what do you want, pervy sage? Naruto asked, having swallowed his food. I got us a mission. We have to go find Avery's special someone, to heal all our injured ninja. Jiraiya answered. This someone a woman? Yup, she's. No thanks. This is probably some CM for you to do research, using me as bait. Said Naruto. Do you really think I need a snot-nosed brat for bait? Jiraiya asked, yelling at Naruto for accusing him of such a thing. Yup, Naruto answered simply, as if they just asked him if he was sure that 1 + 1 = 2. You're still mad, aren't you? You got no idea. You threw me off a cliffside. Why wouldn't I be mad? I was talking about the other thing, you brat, said Jiraiya, whispering that last part. Same answer, asshole. Naruto replied, with the same attitude. Oh well, I figured you'd like to learn some sealing jutsu. I guess I'll just ask someone else, maybe Sasuke. You really are an asshole, you know that. Sigh fine, I'm coming. Alright, I'll meet you at the front gate in an hour, said Jiraiya, leaving with a shunshin. Bastard, said Naruto, paying his bill so he can get ready for the mission. Chapter 17. Kick in the ass and Anor revelation. Ahahahahahaha. Wow, so much for the great Uchiha clan. Ha 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 ha, said Kisame, as he rolled on the ground laughing at his companion Itachi. Be quiet, Kisame. The same could have happened to you, just as easily as it happened to me. Besides, somehow Naruto knows the 4th Hokage's Rasengan. It caught me off guard. Itachi explained, as he tended to the broken ribs on his right side. That's why it's so funny. You got caught off guard by a little 12-year-old brat, without him using the power of the 9 tails inside him. And you're always on guard. Ha ha ha, said Kisame, as he continued laughing. The thought of what he just said caused him to laugh harder. What happened was that after their confrontation within the Leaf Village, they fled. But not before Itachi hit Kakashi with the Tsukuyomi, leaving him in comatose state. They later caught up with Naruto, without the company of Jiraiya, only to be followed by Sasuke. Jiraiya then showed up, having sensed that Naruto was in trouble. Itachi meanwhile, easily defeated Sasuke by, once again, using Tsukuyomi. Flashback, pervy sage. Keep shark ass face away from me, I'll take on Itachi, said Naruto, pulling out a kunai with the usual smoke bomb attached. Not even waiting a reply, Naruto threw the kunai towards Itachi. Do you really think you can defeat me, Naruto? Asked Itachi, in his usually monotone-like voice, catching he kunai with his right hand, not bothered by the smoke bomb going off. Once the kunai was thrown, Naruto immediately started to form the Rasengan. Naruto used his other hand to drop another smoke bomb as soon as the one on the kunai he had thrown went off. Obscured by smoke, Naruto used the flying Raijin jutsu to suddenly appear next to Itachi. Rasengan, Naruto yelled as he rammed the jutsu into Itachi's ribs, cracking them. Itachi was surprised when he heard Naruto yell the fourth Hokage's jutsu, and even more so when it came from right next to him. Itachi, as a result from being hit by the jutsu, went flying out the window. End flashback. To think that he could already have mastered that jutsu. It's incredible. It wouldn't be so bad if Kisame were to stop laughing. I got an idea to make him stop, Itachi thought, as he started performing hand signs. You brought this upon yourself, Kisame. Fire style, fireball jutsu. Said Itachi, firing a fist-size fireball towards Kisame's ass. Ah, you bastard, Itachi. Why the hell did you do that for? Kisame yelled, jumping around trying to pat the fire out. I told you to be quiet. If you continue to mock me, I'll just say that it was Lord Jiraiya who lit your rear end on fire while he was toying with you. Itachi answered. Fine, you win for now, Itachi. Said Kisame, scowling as he did so. Ah, come on, Naruto. You're not mad about what happened back there, are you? Jiraiya asked, as he walked with Nato in silence. Naruto, since leaving the town they were just in, had been reading the book on sealing jutsu that Jiraiya had given him. No, I'm not mad, Naruto relied, closing the book and placing it in his weapons pouch. I'm fucking furious, Naruto yelled, causing Jiraiya to jump slightly in surprise. How come? Jiraiya asked, hoping this wasn't going to end badly. How come? Are you serious? You must be a complete idiot not to know why. If you really want to know why, then fine. I'll tell you. Said Naruto, not wanting to be so loud about something so personal. Jiraiya didn't like how Naruto suddenly lowered his voice. It's because you go to be the worst godfather awful godfathers. First, you were never around when I needed someone. Second, you didn't want to teach me in the first place. Even though you realized who I was, and only out of guilt did you teach me anything. And last but not least, you never bothered telling me about ANORGINIZATION of S-ranked criminals. WHO were coming after me in order to get you know what. Naruto explained, emphasizing key words until memory of today's events made him snap. Jiraiya was hurt when he heard that first sentence. It hurt him just as much as when Tsunade almost killed him for peeping on her in the hot springs. After hearing Naruto's reasons, he could hardly argue with him. Even though the second reason wasn't true, he had every intention of training Naruto. But he had already tried explaining that, but Naruto just wouldn't believe him. Jiraiya knew Naruto had every right to be angry, he just wished he knew how to make it up to him. Look Naruto, I want to make it up to you. But I just don't know how. Please, throw me a bone here. I'll do anything, please. Jiraiya begged. Peeved. Just leave me alone. Let's just find this Lady Tsunade, or whatever, and get back to the village so I can get back to helping the village and train. Replied Naruto, pulling his book out as he continued to walk towards their next destination. Sigh, alright, let's get going then, said Jiraiya, as he began to follow Naruto. Meanwhile, back in the village, I'm glad that Naruto decided to trust you with the knowledge of his secret jutsu, Kurenai-sensei. Said Hinata. Hinata and Kurenai were in the latter's apartment, sipping tea in her living room. I'm surprised that he does, to be honest. I mean considering his life story so far, it makes sense that he'd want to keep it a secret. Although it's not surprising how you found out. Said Kurenai, chuckling at the memory of having caught Hinata's stalk. Watching Naruto a number of times. Cough cough, sensei. Said Hinata, almost choking on her tea. Haha, sorry Hinata, but I couldn't resist. Kurenai explained, as she took a sip of her own tea. Kurenai then realized what could possibly happen if any of Hinata's and Naruto's combined secrets were to come out in the open, including the secret concerning Naruto's jutsu. Kurenai decided to bring up her concerns to Hinata. Hinata, what is it, sensei? Hinata asked. Have you and Naruto considered the possibility that your and Naruto's secrets come out? If that happens, our village's enemies, specifically the Hidden Rock, will most likely attack us. Especially if they fear Naruto's capability of using the flying Raijin jutsu. You could be in extreme danger, said Kurenai. She didn't want to discourage their relationship, she just wanted them to see the dangers should such a thing happen. Hinata placed her cup on the table in front of her. Well, we never considered that. Hinata replied, truthfully. You'll need to start training harder than ever now, Hinata. Just to avoid being captured and used as a hostage to lure Naruto. Our enemies will stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Kurenai explained, wanting Hinata to be safe at all costs. So long as it didn't cost her her happiness with the boy she's dating. Hinata looked at her hands, letting everything her sensei said sink in. After a few minutes she finally responded, while jumping to her feet. You're right. Looking up, Kurenai was surprised to see a fire in her eyes. A fire she's never seen in Hinata before. Kurenai-sensei, can you help me train right now? I want to become stronger. I want to protect Naruto. Kurenai thought she probably looked like an idiot, with wide eyes and a dropped jaw. But she didn't care. She was surprised that Hinata didn't want to become stronger for her own sake, but for Nato's. After about another minute, Kurenai smiled. Alright, let's go, said Kurenai, as she got up and grabbed her gear. Sensei. What is it? Kurenai asked, placing her hand on the doorknob. Don't hold back. Not one bit. Hinata replied. Smiling, Kurenai answered. Alright, but you'll probably regret asking that of me. Asking you what, Toots? Asked a new voice. Kurenai turned around to see a toad the size of a bullfrog on top of Hinata's head. Gamakichi? What are you doing here? Asked Hinata, looking up and recognizing Naruto's summon. Hinata, you know this frog? Kurenai asked. Yes. Naruto can use the summoning jutsu to summon toads. Hinata replied. Summoning? Naruto? You're kidding, right? No. Naruto can use summoning and the fourth Hokage's Rasengan. When and how did he learn those? Kurenai asked. Yes, he can. Now can I please relay Naruto's message to the blue-haired chick here, please? Said Gamakichi, annoyed at all the questions Kurenai was asking. Huh? What message? Asked Kurenai. Just that Naruto went with that perverted old man on a mission. And he doesn't know when he'll be back. Gamakichi answered. A mission? What's he doing on this mission? Asked Hinata. To look for the pervert's old teammate. I don't know the complete details. Sorry, girly. Oh, thank you, Gamakichi. Hey, no problem. See y'all later, girly. With that, Gamakichi disappeared with a asterisk poof. Does he mean Lord Jiraiya's old teammate, Lady Tsunade? Kurenai asked. Yes. According to Naruto, Lord Jiraiya is a pervert. Hinata answered. That's right, Naruto told me about that earlier. Anyway, let's get going. You got training to do, said Kurenai, opening the door. Right, let's go. Hinata replied, following her sensei. -1 month and 1 week later, Naruto was currently practicing some of the sealing jutsu that he had read in the books Jiraiya had given him. Naruto was really getting impatient with Jiraiya during this mission. As far as he was concerned, Jiraiya was leading them in circles. Going in bars and getting drunk, flirting with every woman in sight. It was really getting on Naruto's last nerve. But since he didn't know that much about reconnaissance, he left to Jiraiya. Yo, Naruto. I got us a lead on Tsunade, said Jiraiya, walking from the town they've been staying at the past few days. It's about time. I'm finally getting some of this sealing jutsu down, no thanks to you. Naruto replied, annoyed with Jiraiya's interruption. But he was glad that this mission was finally, and hopefully, coming to an end. Sigh. Man, I didn't think I'd miss the village this much. I guess a lot of it had to do with Hinata. And this annoying pervert. Sigh. Give me a break here. If I was constantly here training you, we'd probably still be looking for a lead on Tsunade. Said Jiraiya. He wanted to help Naruto more, but he believed that Naruto had to learn things on his own. Yay, whatever. Let's just go. Where is she supposed to be, anyway? Naruto asked. Not too far from here. It's a gambling town called Tanzaku Town. Jiraiya answered. Alright, let's get going. Night had fallen, and Naruto was really frustrated. When they arrived, the castle was completely destroyed. When they went to investigate, they were hoping to find Tsunade. but they only found the remains of the castle and a large hole in the wall surrounding the castle. Great, just great. The one chance to find that Tsunade woman, and we miss her by a mile. Naruto complained. Oh, shut up already. Let's try getting some info from the bar here, said Jiraiya. Whatever, but if you start hitting on even one woman, I'm gonna kick your ass all the way back to the Leaf Village. Got it? Yay. I got it, sheesh. You think he'd be less pissed by now? Having entering the bar, Jiraiya almost immediately noticed his old teammate, Tsunade. Jiraiya yelled, pointing in Tsunade's direction. Jiraiya, Tsunade yelled, standing from her seat on the bench. 5 minutes later, everyone was seated in silence. Jiraiya and Naruto joined Tsunade and her apprentice Shizune, along with a pig in a red vest named Tonton. So this is the old pervert's old teammate, huh? No wonder he's such a pervert, Naruto thought. It's been a long time, Tsunade, said Jiraiya. It sure has. First Orochimaru, now you. Almost like a reunion, Tsunade replied. After a few more minutes of idle chit-chat, including about their sensei's death, and a few hands of poker, Jiraiya decided to cut to the chase. Tsunade, the village, in all its wisdom, has decided to name you as the 5th Hokage. What? You said we were here to get her to heal out village's shinobi. You said nothing about her becoming Hokage. Naruto yelled, angry at not being told the truth. Tisk. Shouldn't expect anything less from him, I guess. But I'm really getting tired of his lies and irresponsibility, Naruto thought, angrily. First, I decline. Second, who's this brat that you have with you? Tsunade asked. His name's Naruto Uzumaki. Jiraiya answered. This kid's the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki? Tsunade thought. He's nothing like your last pupil. Well, it's not really fair to compare him to his father. He does come after his mother after all. Jiraiya whispered. You're actually saying that out loud? Tsunade asked. He's known for some time now, Tsunade. Hence why he has such a negative attitude towards me. Jiraiya explained. I see. So I assume he knows about you too? That you're his godfather. Yay, that's why he's so pissed at me. Despite all I taught him. Oh yay. By teaching, you mean pushing me off a cliff. Right, you damn perv? Said Naruto, giving his 2 cents. You what? Tsunade yelled. Why the hell would you do that to my godson, you lech? What? You mean you're my godmother? Naruto asked, shocked at this revelation. Oh boy, you shouldn't have said that, Tsunade. He didn't know about you like that. He only knew about you being my teammate. Hey, where are you going, Naruto? Jiraiya asked, seeing Naruto getting up and walking away from the table. Why do you care? In fact, why do any of you care? I've been alone all my life, and you two are my godparents? I think my parents would be ashamed to have given you two that honor in the first place. I don't care what your reasons are, just leave me alone, said Naruto, in monotone-like voice. He obviously wasn't happy with what he just found out. Naruto, wait, Tsunade called, following after Naruto. Tsunade, wait, you don't want to mess with him right now, said Jiraiya, following Tsunade in an attempt to stop her from getting hurt. He knows that Naruto could catch her off guard with his jutsu. Shizune got up and followed them, leaving some money on the table as she did so. Once outside, Tsunade followed Naruto around the corner into the alleyway. Naruto, wait, please, Tsunade called. Why should I? Naruto yelled, stopping and turning towards Tsunade. Naruto, let me explain. I've lost many precious people to that village. I couldn't stand it. I had to leave. I loved your mother, as if she were my own. Tsunade began. If that's true, then you should have stayed and been there for me. I had no one. I didn't have friends or family. It hurt when I saw my classmates and other kids with their parents. And just when my life was starting to look up, I get slapped in the face. I found out who they were, by accident. The old man had lied to me the whole time. He knew who they were but didn't tell me. He even tried denying it right to my face, even after I found out. And you're standing there, telling me how bad you were hurt. Well, I was hurting every day until I finally became a genin. You at least knew who your parents were, with no one trying to hide it from you. You knew who your godparents were, if you had any. I had no one. No one cared if I lived or died. You did. By this point, Naruto already had tears running down his face. The whole scene and story had Tsunade's heart feel as if someone was squeezing it with their fist. If I had any idea that this would have been the case, I never would have left. I'm a fool, a self-centered fool, Tsunade thought. I'm sorry, Naruto. True. I don't want to hear it. Leave me alone, Naruto yelled, pulling out 2 kunai with smoke bombs attached along with a lone smoke bomb. Naruto threw one kunai next to and slightly behind Tsunade, and the other in the direction of his and Jiraiya's hotel. Throwing the smoke bomb at the ground, Naruto disappeared in the smoke. What's he doing? Asked Tsunade. Suddenly she was also enveloped by smoke, but that didn't surprise her. What did surprise her was what felt like a foot being planted against her ass. The impact was enough to cause her to fall to the ground. Tsunade used her hands to prevent her from hitting the ground with her face. Turning around to see what hit her, she was surprised yet again when nothing was there. What happened? I'll explain later. Come on Tsunade, let's get a drink, said Jiraiya. Turning towards Shizune, Jiraiya said, Shizune, could you please talk to Naruto? He should be at the hotel we're staying at. Our room is 308. You're the only one he doesn't have a grudge with, so hopefully he'll listen to you. Of course, Lord Jiraiya, Shizune replied. Turning, Shizune went to talk to Naruto, taking Tauntaun along with her. Jiraiya was walking alongside Tsunade towards a different bar, when Tsunade suddenly asked the question that's been on her mind. So, how did Naruto get behind me so easily? Jiraiya gave her a quick glance around before giving a once-over in the immediate area. Finding that no one was in the area, Jiraiya answered with a whisper. He somehow found and mastered his father's jutsu all on his own. Hardly anyone knows since he always hides that flashy jutsu with those smoke bombs of his. Gasp, you're kidding, right? He mastered that jutsu, all on his own? Tsunade asked, shocked at the knowledge of such a powerful jutsu in the hands of a child. Her godchild, no less. Yay, that's right. Despite his horrible grades in the academy, he somehow managed to master an S-ranked jutsu. With that jutsu alone he could be one of the most powerful, if not then the most powerful shinobi. But he doesn't want to rely solely on that jutsu alone. So he's training, arming himself with more jutsu. His goal is to become a stronger shinobi than all the previous Hokage, while taking on that title himself. Jiraiya explained. What? He wants to be Hokage? Yay, the same dream as Nawaki and Dan. Unlike those two though, he has quite that jutsu. What a fool. He'll die if he chooses that dream. Don't count him yet, Tsunade. Besides, what did he do to knock you down by the way? I felt a foot. So I guess he gave me a kick in the ass. Who knows, you're probably right. I shouldn't count him out yet. For all I know, I needed that kick in the ass. Hee hee. Tsunade thought, giving a slight smile. A kick in the ass? Seriously? Oh, that's rich. Ha 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 ha. Jiraiya said, laughing harder than he has in years. Shut up, Jiraiya, or I'll beat you worse than when I caught you peeping on me in the hot springs. Tsunade yelled, effectively shutting up her old teammate. Knock. Knock, what is it? Naruto asked, hearing a knock at his hotel room door. It's me, Shizune. May I come in? Shizune asked, from the other side of the door. Yay, make yourself at home. Naruto replied, opening the door allowing Shizune. Having closed the door, Naruto asked her why she was there in the first place. Why are you here anyway? I came to talk to you about Lady Tsunade. I understand that you've had a hard life, but so has Lady Tsunade. Just allow me to explain. Shizune then began explaining about the two most precious people to Tsunade, Dai. Shizune soon finished her story. She could see that Naruto was more understanding of Tsunade's reason for not being there, but not entirely. So you see Naruto. She was afraid of becoming too attached to you, and then seeing Dai right before her eyes. She didn't think she could handle something like that happening to her again. She thought that if she were never attached to you, that she wouldn't endure any pain should anything happen to you. So, Shizune explained, before she stopped, feeling the temperature in the room drop a few degrees. So, she'd rather let her godson suffer alone, rather than make sure that he's okay and grows up happy. She'd rather let me suffer, rather than protect and teach me, so I wouldn't die and cause her pain. She only thought of herself. As far as I'm concerned, that's nothing but bullshit excuses. Naruto yelled, understanding Tsunade's situation, but not accepting it. Shizune gasped. She couldn't believe that Naruto couldn't accept it, but she couldn't deny that he had a point himself. Sigh. I guess you have a point, Naruto. But please understand that she never meant to hurt you, and neither did Lord Jiraiya. That may be, but they still did. None of them were there when I needed someone. If they want to make it up to me, then fine. They can try, I won't stop them there. Said Naruto. I understand. Thank you for your time, Naruto. Shizune said, heading towards th door. I'll tell you this, but don't get the wrong idea. Tsunade has a better chance than that old pervert. But only because she has a better reason for not being around. Good night, Shizune. Good night, Naruto. And thank you. Chapter 18. Meanwhile, in the village. It was 5 in the afternoon. Hinata was on her hands and knees panting. She and Kurenai had been training since 8 that morning. She's really determined to get stronger. She has always put every ounce of herself into her training, but this is going past her limits. Well, this is enough for today, Kurenai thought. Hinata, that's enough for today. You should rest tomorrow as well. But sensei, Hinata began, before Kurenai interrupted her. Hinata, you need to rest. Rest is a part of training as well. If you continue to train past your limits like this, you could risk injuring yourself too much. Take tomorrow off and we'll continue the day after, alright? Sigh. Yes, sensei. Said Hinata, albeit quite reluctantly. Good. Let's go, Hinata. 2 weeks later, Hinata has just walked in through the front door, when she heard her father's voice. Hinata. Yes, father? Hinata replied. Where have you been every day, for the past 2 weeks? Hiyashi asked. I've been training with Kurenai sensei. I see. Hiyashi said, closing his eyes and taking a short breath. You've been training harder the past 2 weeks. Why is that? He asked, opening his eyes. Hinata looked down to avoid her father's eyes. She knew that the true reason was Naruto, but she couldn't tell her father that. But she was of course prepared if this question ever came up. Looking back up, she replied. It's because I don't want to be a burden to me teammates, or to the village. I want to become stronger. She's sure of herself. That's not like her at all. But there is no deceit in her eyes. It's not the full truth, but she's not lying, Hiyashi thought. Al thought he didn't get the entire truth, he decided to leave it at that. I see. Very well, continue to train as hard as you are. Hiyashi said, turning to head to his office before dinner. Yes, father, said Hinata, bowing towards her father. Elsewhere in the village, Kurenai was thinking about Hinata's improvement over the past weeks. Hinata's been improving. Not by much, but it's only been a couple weeks. She still has time to get stronger. Sigh, I don't think I should have scared her like that though. Even though I may be right, I may have been too rough with my explanation. Hey, and to think that she wants to become stronger, all because she doesn't want to be a burden to anyone. Especially Naruto. I guess I shouldn't have been surprised that Naruto could use the summoning jutsu and Rasengan. Kurenai just stared at her ceiling for the next few minutes, before a final thought crossed her mind as she fell asleep. Heh. It would seem that Naruto really could one day become Hokage. Meanwhile, the third Hokage's advisors were speaking with another man. The man had long lost his right eye and arm. This man was Danzo Shimura, a rival to Hiruzen Sarutobi. The Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, Naruto, is becoming stronger at an alarming rate. If we don't act soon, he may become too strong for us to take control of. Said Homura, an old man with a full beard and green glasses. That's right. If he continues to grow in strength, he won't rely on the Nine-Tails power. And by extension, won't learn to control its power. That could leave our village vulnerable for your plans. What do you think we should do, Danzo? Asked Kaharu, an old woman with her hair up in a bun with Senbon holding it up. There's no need to worry. I've already thought up a contingency plan, and it's already been put into action before Hiruzen passed. All you two need to do is to sign this document, make a few copies and then place it in the jurisdiction section of the Leaf Village archives. Said Danzo, passing over a document with the Three Roads signature and official stamp. How do you expect this to work? If he is, Homura began. No need for you two to worry, I have it all figured out. There are no faults within this plan. And before too long, the Nine-Tails will be under Naruto's control and by extension ours. Said Danzo, signaling that they should sign the document. After giving each other a quick glance, they nodded and signed the document. Once finished, left with the document in hand to do as Danzo requested of them. It's only a matter of time. If only Hiruzen gave me the boy after the attack, then. No matter. I just need to wait till the time is right, and then the 9 tails will finally be my ideal weapon, thought Danzo, as his visitors left his office. Danzo allowed himself a small smirk before going off to bed. Chapter 19. Naruto vs. Kabuto, Sannin Showdown. It was the night before Tsunade's deadline. Tsunade was at the little bar where she and Jiraiya had been earlier that week when he first showed up. And just like then, Jiraiya was by her side. I assume you're meeting Orochimaru tomorrow, right? Asked Jiraiya. And why do you think that? Tsunade countered. First, you mentioned that you met with Orochimaru before we managed to find you earlier that same day. Second, considering that you've shown to care for Naruto, despite distancing yourself from him, you decided to stay for another week instead of going back to the Leaf Village with us. Third, tomorrow is the end of the week. So, why are you going to meet him? What did he offer you in return for restoring his arms? Jiraiya answered. That's none of your business. But I'm not going to restore his arms. I'm going to kill that bastard once and for all. Tsunade replied, with a fierce look on her face. A look Jiraiya hasn't seen on her in a long time. I see. And how do you plan on doing that? You haven't been in a fight this intense in a long time. You'll need my help, Jiraiya said, taking a sip of his sake. I just need you to give me a little head start. Not long, just an hour. Tsunade answered, taking a sip of her own sake. Why do you need that long? Chances are Orochimaru might have his companion attack Shizune, in order to prevent her from interfering. I need you to wait until you notice his presence before you move. I'll leave half an hour before we are to meet. Knowing Orochimaru, he won't show up until 5 minutes before the set time of the meeting. If we move from the meeting place, then just use Taunton to track me down. I see. Alright, but you better be alive when we get there. Don't underestimate me, Jiraiya. That'll be Orochimaru's mistake, said Tsunade, chuckling as she took another sip of her sake. Heh. Alright, princess, said Jiraiya, taking a sip of his sake as well. Oh, make it look convincing that I slipped you a Mickey tomorrow morning. At least until you start heading to the battlefield. Trying to catch the enemy off guard, huh? I like it. Outside of Tanzaku Town, Naruto, Jiraiya and Shizune, along with Taunton, had arrived, just in time to save Tsunade from getting killed by Kabuto. Damn it. I almost had her, thought Kabuto, as he saw Jiraiya and Co. Naruto had seen Kabuto attacking Tsunade. Confused and angry, Naruto asked him what he was doing. What are you doing, Kabuto? Why are you with Orochimaru? Pay attention to his headband, Naruto. He's a spy for the hidden sound, said Jiraiya. I see you're still a little kid, Naruto. Why don't you stay out of this, and let the adults play? Said Kabuto, taunting Naruto. Grr. Naruto growled. Calm down, Naruto. You keep watch over Tsunade. Shizune, you take on 4 eyes. I'll handle Orochimaru, Jiraiya ordered. No, I'll take on that traitor. I'll have him beat to a pulp within 5 minutes, Naruto claimed. Without wait on a response, Naruto made a certain hand sign. He lifted one arm up with a half ram, while the other showed the same hand sign at his chest. Ninja art. Hidden mist jutsu. The area then began to fill up with a very dense mist. A large circle with a 100 feet radius covered the plains in mist. Impossible. This jutsu wasn't in my data. How does he know this jutsu? Kabuto thought, frantically. Kabuto began to rack his brains for a time when he might have missed this, only to come up with nothing. I see. He's been keeping some of his jutsu secret. Sigh, this isn't looking good. I can't even see the tip of my nose in this mist. I'll have to keep my ears wide open for any attacks. When did he learn that jutsu? This kid just has more and more surprises up his sleeves. Oh well, he has the advantage in this fight. Shizune, change of plans. You watch over Tsunade. Now let's get out of this mist. I can't see a thing. Jiraiya thought, ordered, respectively. Yes, Lord Jiraiya, Shizune replied, grabbing hold of Tsunade in order to leave the mist-covered area. Be careful, Naruto. Seems we've underestimated the boy. I'd kill him now, but even can't tell where he is. Oh well, I'll just leave it to Kabuto. Kukakukuku, thought Orochimaru as he left the mist himself. It's a good thing Haku snuck that scroll into my weapon's pouch. Naruto thought, as he remembered finding the scroll containing the jutsu. Flashback, finally home, said Naruto, as he closed the door to his apartment. Naruto began to get ready for bed. shower, teeth, etc. Before going to sleep though, Naruto decided to look through his weapons pouch to check how many weapons he had left. Having lost about half his stock, Naruto also noticed that there was a scroll that hadn't been there when he last checked it. Naruto decided to open the scroll, and the first thing he saw was a note from Haku. Dear Naruto, I noticed that you tend to hide whatever jutsu you've been using. So, I decided to help you hide it better than with those smoke bombs. It may cost some chakra, but it should help immensely. After this message, there is all the information you need about the hidden mist jutsu. Just use a little extra chakra the right way, and you'll end up with a very dense fog. No one will be able to see your jutsu, whatever it may be. Thanks for everything. Your friend, Haku Yuki. Thanks, Haku, said Naruto, closing the scroll before going to sleep. The next day, Naruto would begin training himself with the jutsu within his apartment. Flashback end, actually, on second thought. I'm gonna kick you ass in less than a minute, Kabuto. Naruto called, pulling a kunai from his pouch. Because of the mist being loaded with his chakra, Naruto could sense the whereabouts of Kabuto. He had already sensed Jiraiya, Shizune with Tsunade and Taunton, and Orochimaru's departure from the mist. Outside the mist, Naruto was completely blind at the moment, but inside he might as well have the Byakugan. Sorta. You honestly think you can, Naruto? Why don't you try it then? Kabuto asked, confident that Naruto couldn't do as he claimed. You damn right, I can, said Naruto, making a cross-hand sign. Shadow clone jutsu, Naruto yelled, each clone pulling out a kunai. Hey, shadow clones won't help if you can't see. You really are just a kid, thinking things are so easy. Your dream of becoming Hokage, for example. That will never happen. I know this because you'll die today. I'll make sure of that, Kabuto claimed, as he readied his kunai for action. Meanwhile, Orochimaru was having a difficult time fighting with Jiraiya. Not having any proper use of his arms made it nearly impossible to use any jutsu. So he had to resort to taijutsu. Unfortunately, his arm just swung around with his movements. Getting frustrated, Orochimaru extended his neck in an attempt to bite Jiraiya in the jugular. Ninja art. Needle Jizo, Jiraiya called. His hair extended slightly and wrapped itself around his body. Orochimaru just barely avoided having his head seaward. He retracted his neck and went to kick Jiraiya's exposed face. However, Jiraiya countered by extending his needle-haired shield in front of his face, resulting in Orochimaru's foot to receive a painful session of acupuncture. Ah! Yelled Orochimaru in pain. Jiraiya took advantage of this and undid most of his jutsu, leaving Orochimaru's foot stuck in his hair. Bringing up his own foot, Jiraiya delivered a powerful kick to Orochimaru's face, sending him flying as a result. Landing on the ground, Orochimaru rolled to his feet, readying himself for a follow-up attack. Damn that old man, for taking my arms. I'd have this battle done by now, thought Orochimaru, staring at Jiraiya with a murderous look in his eyes. Hey, what's wrong, Orochimaru? Can't keep up without your precious jutsu? Maybe next time you'll think twice before attacking the Leaf Village, taunted Jiraiya. Before Orochimaru could retaliate, he saw Kabuto shooting out from the mist towards the sky at an angle to the south. It was hard to tell, but it looked like Kabuto had some heavy injuries. A moment earlier, Kabuto could hear the sound of 5 kunai flying towards him. Not good enough, Kabuto called, as he blocked the kunai. The kunai were now spread out in a parabolic line in front of him. Oh yeah? Then take this, Naruto yelled. Naruto and his clones then each formed a Rasengan, and used the flying Raijin jutsu, without calling it out, to appear by each of the kunai. With a simultaneous yell of Rasengan, the 4 clones rammed their jutsu into Kabuto. One went into his left shoulder, another in his right forearm, while another went into the ribs on his right side and the 4th into his left thigh. The real Naruto waited slightly, before finally ramming his jutsu into Kabuto's gut, angling his leverage in order to send Kabuto south, via air Rasengan. After Kabuto was sent flying, Naruto dispersed his clones. Present Kabuto hit the ground with a devastating thud, leaving him in a small 2-foot crater. Orochimaru quickly headed towards Kabuto to see if he was still alive. Upon arrival, Orochimaru saw the injuries Kabuto possessed when he flew from the mist. Kabuto had his right forearm broken, a broken left thigh, a dislocated left shoulder, and judging by the tears in Kabuto's shirt, it could be safely assumed he had broken ribs and some internal bleeding. "That boy is quite intriguing, to injure you so badly so quickly," said Orochimaru to the somehow still conscious Kabuto. "NNG. I'll be fine, Lord Orochimaru. Just give me a minute," said Kabuto, grunting in pain. Orochimaru didn't reply, instead he looked into the clearing mist. Soon the mist had completely vanished, revealing a smirking Naruto. Angry at how smug the boy looked, Orochimaru charged at him at full speed. Jiraiya, who was already running towards Orochimaru, saw this and changed course to intercept his former teammate's attack. Jiraiya leapt towards Orochimaru, intending to knock him off course. Orochimaru leapt straight into the air, having seen this coming, and concentrated chakra in his tongue. Firing his extended tongue at Jiraiya's ankle, having caught him off guard, Orochimaru twisted around. Jiraiya had no choice but to follow the wet appendage in large circles, before finally being slammed in the ground. Naruto, who had been watching, suddenly felt a shooting pain in his ankles. "Ah!" Naruto yelled, as he hit the ground. Naruto rolled over to see what caused the intense pain, only to see Kabuto's head with a kunai in his mouth. Looking at his ankles, he saw that his Achilles tendons cut clean through. Kabuto came out of the ground with his, slightly healed, serious injuries. Now, Naruto. You didn't think I was down for the count, did you? Big mistake. I don't know how you did this, but it doesn't matter. You'll still die today," said Kabuto, letting the kunai fall from his mouth. Kabuto made an attempted jump backwards, as Shizune tried to sever his jugular with her chakra scalpel. "You're the only one who's going to die. You along with Orochimaru," yelled Shizune, as she made another attempt to kill Kabuto. Kabuto was pushing his injury in his left leg, but with a strong and steady flow of healing chakra into his thigh, Kabuto managed to continue dodging Shizune's attacks. "Apparently you forgot about Lord Orochimaru. Naruto's a goner. Ha ha ha," gasped Shizune, turned around. Kabuto was right, she had forgotten about Orochimaru. Orochimaru was now above Naruto with his grass longsword coming out his mouth. Before Shizune could act, she was blindsided with a kick from Kabuto, effectively knocking her to the ground. Shizune was shocked at what she saw when she looked up. She saw Tsunade standing between Orochimaru and Naruto, with the sword coming out her lower back just missing the spine. Judging by the angle, Shizune knew that the sword had entered just below her left ribs. A moment earlier Tsunade was still shivering. Having long had the blood whipped of her face, she continued to tremble from the blood on her clothing. The scenes of seeing Nawaki's and Dan's corpses, replaying over and over in her mind. She finally broke out of her trance when she heard Naruto yell out in pain. She saw Naruto on the ground with Kabuto standing above him. She also saw Shizune begin her assault on Kabuto, to prevent him from killing Naruto. Unfortunately, Orochimaru took advantage of the situation. He now stood above Naruto, now extending his grass longsword from his mouth. Scenes of Nawaki's and Dan's corpses appeared before her again, but this time accompanied by Naruto's. Something then snapped inside her. She got up and ran. The next thing she knew was that she had pain from the sword piercing right through her. Tsunade Gak coughed up blood as a result. "Tsunade, you're the last person I wanted to kill. So why are you putting yourself between me and that worthless brat? He must die before the Akatsuki get a hold of him. I don't know anything of the Akatsuki. But I do know that I don't care. I won't let you harm this boy. He is destined to become Hokage someday. He will be my successor. As of today, I am the 5th Hokage. And I will start by protecting this boy," Tsunade yelled, punching Orochimaru in the face. This resulted in Orochimaru flying backwards, along with his sword that was violently removed from Tsunade's body. "Ah!" Tsunade yelled out in pain, before she froze at the sight of her own blood. Her trembling once again took over. She was beginning to panic. Until she remembered how strong Naruto was, how he easily beat Kabuto. She also remembered how close he was to death just a moment ago. Resolving to protect Naruto, Tsunade's trembling ceased. "A moment ago, Cuckoo. How sad. There's no one left to protect you, Naruto. HN. I'd normally be very interested to see how strong you become, but knowing that the Akatsuki is after you, I can't allow you to live." said Orochimaru, bringing out the grass longsword from his mouth. Shit, the only seal I can think of is the one in my apartment. I'll have to dodge this at the last second, Naruto thought. Naruto saw the sword coming at him as if it were in slow motion. Just before he used his secret jutsu, a few drops of blood hit his face. Huh? What the? Grandma Tsunade? Naruto looked up and saw Tsunade standing between him and Orochimaru with the sword protruding from her back, just inches from his face. Naruto just lied there, listening to their conversation. Naruto was shocked to hear what Tsunade said. Naruto became worried when she started trembling, but was surprised when it stopped. Present as Orochimaru began to stand up, he smiled as he saw Tsunade had once again begun to tremble. Taking this opportunity, he began to charge toward Tsunade, only to be cut off by Jiraiya. About time. Lol, Jiraiya. Why must you insist on interfering with my business? Orochimaru asked, with quite the calm voice. Why must you be a cowardly snake in the grass? Also because, you tried to kill my student. Jiraiya countered, as well as my godson. Orochimaru hissed in annoyance as he charged Jiraiya, intent on killing him. The fighting went on for a few seconds, before out of the blue Orochimaru was sent flying. It didn't take long for Orochimaru to realize who had kicked him, as his eyes landed on Tsunade void of all her injuries. Damn it, this isn't supposed to be how it happened, Orochimaru thought, as Kabuto landed next to him. Lord Orochimaru, what should we do? The advantage is no longer in our favor, said Kabuto, as he pointed towards Naruto's and Shizun's direction. While the fighting had been going on, Shizun had barely managed to push Kabuto back, but only because of his serious injuries. Shizun was currently tending to Naruto's injuries, by doing so would put Naruto back in fighting shape. Orochimaru evaluated their current situation, and they didn't look good. First, Kabuto was seriously injured and was just barely moving around and wouldn't be able to fight off Naruto and Shizun. Second, Naruto was the cause of his injuries in the first place. And lastly, his arms. They were little more than rotting limbs at this point, and his jutsu were out with the exception of the ones that don't require hand signs. But approximately 95% or more required hand signs. Orochimaru didn't like it, but he had no choice. You may have refused to heal my arms. But rest assured, there is more than one way to get back the jutsu stolen from me by Sarutobi-sensei. HNHNHNHNH, said Orochimaru before he disappeared with a shunshin. Kabuto immediately followed. Sigh, it's over, for now, said Jiraiya. Are you okay, Naruto? Jiraiya asked, turning to Naruto who had just walked up to them. A little pain from where that bastard Kabuto got me, but other than that I'm fine, said Naruto, with a smile on his face. That's a relief. Hey, you smiled at me. Hee hee. Yay, after all that happened I realized that maybe you guys should get a second chance. You better not blow it. Haha, no worries there, kid. Right, Tsunade? Asked Jiraiya, grateful for a second chance. Yay, Tsunade replied, with a smile on her face and a tear in her eye. She was grateful for a second chance with her godson. Shizun looked on with a smile on her face, glad that something good came out of this fierce battle. The scene was interrupted with a growl. Oops, I haven't eaten yet. Heh, said Naruto, his stomach once again making itself known. The group broke out in laughter, and decided to grab something to eat before heading back to the Leaf Village. Chapter 20. Request, Promotions and Gifts. I'll admit, I missed the village more than I thought I did, said Tsunade, as she and the others walked through the gates. HNHN. I know I missed this place. It's great to be back home, said Shizun. Yay, it's about time we get back. It's been way too long if you ask me. Hee hee, said Naruto, anxious to see Hinata after so long. So, I assume I'll be headed to the Hokage's tower first? Tsunade asked. Hold on a second, said Naruto, gaining Tsunade's attention. Huh? You gotta go to the hospital, and heal Sasuke and Kakashi-sensei. Naruto explained. Oh, that's right, I completely forgot. Alright, let's go, said Tsunade, as they all started heading to the hospital. At the hospital during the trip at the hospital, Tsunade had started with awakening Kakashi. After giving a quick scolding towards Kakashi, they continued on to Sasuke. Upon awakening, Sasuke showed practically no emotion. Sakura, however, was completely relieved to finally see Sasuke awake. Considering that she was there practically every day, then yay she should be. Lol. Once she was finished with those two, Tsunade was introduced to Rock Lee, Might Guy's heavily injured student. After dismissing Naruto, Tsunade started examining Lee. Unfortunately, Tsunade admitted that there wasn't much even she could do. That information, however, made Guy very upset. But after explaining that even with her skill, Lee only had a 50-50 chance of surviving such a delicate operation. "Hey girlie, how ya doing?" asked Gamakichi, appearing atop Hinata's head. "Gama Huff Kichi? Puff, what pant are you doing here?" Hinata asked, confused as to why he is there. "I thought you would have figured that out. Naruto's back in the village. He just walked in about an hour ago. Anyway, he wanted to know if you wanted to go on a date tomorrow," explained Gamakichi. "Naruto's back? That's great. But why tomorrow?" Hinata asked. "He just wanted to give you time to prepare. Remember that you guys are to keep your relationship a secret? It would be suspicious if you didn't go home tonight without letting your dad know, don't you think?" "Oh, right. Sorry. Haha. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what do you say? Tomorrow sound good?" "Of course. It sounds great. I can't wait to see Naruto." "Alright, I'll go tell him it's a go. See y'all later girlie. Bye, toots." With that, Gamakichi hopped away to let Naruto know the details, while muttering something about snacks. Naruto's back, huh?" asked Kurenai. "I wish that Toad would quit calling me that." "Yes, I hope he didn't run into any trouble," said Hinata, voicing her concern. "Shouldn't matter too much. He has thought jutsu and he had Lord Jiraiya with him." Kurenai replied, calming Hinata's worries. "You're right. Let's get back to training, sensei," said Hinata, getting into her clan's fighting stance. "Right, let's go. Hokage Monument? You've really been training that hard, Hinata?" Naruto asked, wondering why Hinata was training so hard. Yes. You see, Kurenai-sensei asked what we would do should our enemies learn of jutsu. She believes that we could go to war, because the other hidden villages would fear that jutsu. And if they somehow find out about our relationship, then I'd be nothing but a burden if I were to be captured," Hinata explained. Naruto let the words sink in for a moment before replying. "I guess that makes sense, Hinata. But if that happened, you'd have a kunai with the seal on it. That way I'd be there to help you get out of there." "Maybe, but what if they tried again? They could possibly kill me before you got there. I don't think either of us wants that. I don't want to be a burden to you, Naruto." You're right, Hinata. Sorry. It's okay, Naruto. I promise you that I won't be a burden to you." "Hinata, you could never be a burden to me. I just don't want you to push yourself too far, okay?" Naruto asked. "I'll be fine. I promise." Hinata relied. "Hey, alright, Hinata," said Naruto, leaning in a little closer to Hinata. Hinata blushed slightly with the closeness. But she could sense that something was off about Naruto. Curious as to what Hinata was about to ask about it. Before Naruto beat her to the punch. "I think things are gonna be more dangerous from here on out, Hinata." "Huh? Why do you say that, Naruto?" Hinata asked. Sigh. "The day we left in search of Grandma Tsunade, we met two very powerful ninja. One of them was Sasuke's brother, Itachi. He was the guy that killed off the whole Uchiha clan. His partner was some guy from the Mist Village, Kisame Hoshigaki." Naruto explained. Gasped, "They're incredibly dangerous shinobi. Why did you meet them?" Hinata asked, panic rising within her. "It wasn't by choice. Those two are part of group called Akatsuki, and for some reason they want the 9 tails that's inside me. I managed to hurt Itachi, but it was only because I caught him off guard. He'll be more cautious next time." Naruto explained. I see. We'll have to be more careful as well then, right?" Hinata asked. "Yay. Anyway, don't worry about it right now. Okay? Let's just enjoy the rest of our date, okay?" Sigh. Okay. The two just sat there for another hour, before they got into their disguises and Naruto, walked Hinata, to her sensei's apartment. Before parting, the two kissed each other, good night. Once inside, Kurenai asked how everything went, noticing the look on Hinata's face. Hinata then explained what happened to Naruto during his mission. Although Kurenai knew Naruto could use that powerful of a jutsu, she was still surprised that he managed to land a hit on Itachi when she herself couldn't do anything to him. Nonetheless, she was glad that he was safe. The next day Hinata was headed towards her father's office. She had something important to speak with him about. She had already thought of what he would say and ask, so she already had her answers prepared in advance. Knock knock knock, enter, said Hiyashi. Doing as told, Hinata entered. After closing the door behind her, she walked up a chair in front of her father's desk. Good evening, father, said Hinata, as she bowed before taking her seat. What is it you want, Hinata? Hiyashi asked. I was wondering if you'd be willing to resume my training with the gentle fist, said Hinata, managing to keep herself from stuttering. Looking up, Hiyashi wondered why she wished him to resume her training. Despite his curiosity, he didn't show any emotions as he replied. Why do you wish for me to resume your training? I've been training as hard as I could with Kurenai-sensei, so I'm sure I've gotten a little stronger. But I'm not getting stronger with the gentle fist. If I resumed my gentle fist training, then I'm sure I would become even less of a burden to others. I also wish to prove myself worthy of being the heiress to the Hyuga's main house, said Hinata with the firmest voice she could muster. Even though everything he said was true, those reasons were nothing compared to her true reason. She wanted to protect Naruto from the Akatsuki. Hiyashi didn't show it, but he was genuinely surprised by the determination in her eyes. He's never seen that look on her. Again, however, he knew it wasn't the whole truth. He was getting curious with her recent increase in courage and determination. Although he was curious, he wasn't going to interfere with whatever it was. But that didn't mean he wasn't going to find out. He was patient, so he would wait a little longer. Despite all this, however, there was another slight issue he could easily deal with, but it would take more of his time away from running the Hyuga clan. You realize that I'm still training your sister. I've also started training Neji. If I were to start training you as well, it would take time away from running the clan. I'm aware of that, father. But I promise you I won't be a waste of time, I won't make you regret training me, said Hinata, determined to keep her word. Very well, I'll give you a chance. Your training starts tomorrow morning, said Hiyashi, after a few moments of consideration. Understood. Thank you, father, Hinata replied, as she stood up, bowed and left the office. Hinata then left to get ready for bed, in order to rest up for tomorrow's training. -2 weeks later. During the past 2 weeks, the reconstruction was coming along nicely. With Tsunade officially inaugurated as Hokage, the villagers were able to rest easy and not worry about another attack. Tsunade had spent a lot of time figuring out a way to help Lee. She looked through book after book, until she found something she could use. It mentioned the activation of all the cells in the body, in order to enhance the body's healing. It was a rather complex technique, but she was sure that with enough practice she could pull it off. Tsunade was currently going through the recommendations for Chunin candidates. These recommendations came from various proctors, as well as various feudal lords. Tsunade had already met with the proctors and communicated with the Land of Fire's feudal lord, via letters. Their reasoning seemed very reasonable for the recommended candidates. All that was left to do, was to promote the worthy candidates. Knock knock, enter, Tsunade called out. Upon hearing permission, Shizune walked in. Lady Tsunade, the proctors and the two candidates are here, Shizune informed. Ah yes, send them in, Tsunade ordered. The proctors that saw over the first and third part of the exams entered and stood behind Tsunade. While the two candidates, who made it to the finals and were chosen to be promoted, stood before everyone in the room. You may have guessed why the two of you are here, but I'll explain anyway. The two of you have been recommended by the proctors, based on your performance, to be promoted to the rank of Chunin. Shikamaru, you've proven to be able to level head on your shoulders despite being in stressful situations. Naruto, you're able to effectively hide Jutsu. Also, with the hidden mist jutsu, you can hide your team and prepare your strategies, resulting in effectively ambushing your enemies, considering no one would expect that technique from a leaf shinobi. Tsunade explained, with a smile on her face. Wahoo! Alright, I'm a Chunin. Naruto cheered, earning a laugh from everyone in the room, and causing some of them to question their own recommendation for Naruto. Excuse me, Lady Hokage, said Shikamaru, gaining the attention from everyone in the room. What is it, Shikamaru? Tsunade asked. Naruto never used the hidden mist jutsu in the finals, so why did you even mention it? Said Shikamaru, causing the proctors to look at Tsunade and Naruto curiously. That's true, Naruto used smoke bombs during the exams. However, Naruto used the hidden mist jutsu while on his mission to search for me. That's why I mentioned it. It's just a little more credit towards his promotion. Tsunade explained. Yeah, don't be a downer, Shikamaru. We should be celebrating, hee, said Naruto, putting Shikamaru in a headlock. Ga, let go, Naruto, yelled Shikamaru, the display earning another laugh from everyone present. Congratulations, Shikamaru, said Ino. Squad 10 were currently at their favorite barbecue joint, well Choji's favorite anyway. Yay, who knew you'd be promoted? Said Choji, placing another rib in his mouth. Sigh, you know, I thought the same thing when Naruto was promoted. Said Shikamaru, not realizing that he'd regret saying that. Shikamaru was now donning his new Chunin flag jacket. WHAAAAT? Naruto was promoted to CHUNNIN? Yelled Ino and Choji, simultaneously. Yay, so don't be so surprised about me making Chunin. Damn, I should have known to keep my mouth shut. Sigh, what a drag. Shikamaru said, thought. Well, I don't think we should be that surprised. Whatever he did to beat Neji, he managed to hide it from hundreds of spectators. That's a key advantage to him, which is probably why he was promoted in the first place. Said Asuma, explaining why Naruto was promoted. Well, if Naruto was promoted, then Sasuke definitely got a promotion. Right? Ino asked. Sigh, no, just Naruto and myself earned promotions. Shikamaru replied. What? You were promoted to Chunin? Sakura yelled, as Squad 7 were on their training field. Hee. Yup, Naruto replied, with a large smile on his face. Like Shikamaru, Naruto was also donning his new Chunin vest. Congratulations, Naruto. I'm sure you've earned it. Said Kakashi, with his little eye smile. Thanks, Kakashi-sensei. HMPF. He may be a Chunin, but he's still a loser. Said Sasuke. Damn, even though I wasn't promoted, I'm a little jealous that Naruto earned that promotion. Though I'll never admit it out loud. Sasuke, you jerk. Can't you show me at least a little credit? He's right, Sasuke. Naruto is your superior now. That means you two need to not only show Naruto respect, for his rank at least, but also follow his orders. Understood? Sigh, alright, Kakashi-sensei. Said Sakura, although quite reluctantly. Whatever. Said Sasuke. And Naruto, don't let that power get to your head. Their lives on your hands. Understand? Right, Kakashi-sensei. I won't let you down, or let them die. Naruto replied, determination in his eyes and voice. Good. He may have his mother's personality, but he act like his father every now and then. Kakashi thought, as he browsed something out from his weapons pouch. Anyway, I got something for you, Naruto. Huh? What? Naruto asked, bouncing with excitement. Lady Tsunade told me in advance that you were being promoted. So, I got you a pair of gloves like mine. Said Kakashi, holding a pair of gloves with a metal plate just below the knuckles. The only difference is that the fabric was orange, instead of the usual dark blue. Cool. Awesome. Thank you, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto yelled, taking the gloves and putting them on. Alright, they fit like a charm. And they're orange. Thank you, sensei. Heh, no problem. I figured you'd like the color. Now, let's get some training done. Said Kakashi. Right, Squad 7 replied. The next day, hey, Naruto. Huh? Oh hey, Kiba. Hey Shino, Hinata and Kurenai-sensei. Said Naruto, turning around to see it was Kiba who called. Hi, Naruto. Hinata replied, going into acting mode. Good morning, Naruto. Shino replied. Hey, Naruto. Congratulations on your promotion. Said Kurenai, as she greeted Naruto. Thanks. Naruto replied. Sheesh. Can't believe you of all people got promoted. The dead last of our graduating class, unbelievable. Said Kiba, coming from the one who got beat up by said dead last. Heh. Naruto countered. Why you? Calm down, Kiba. Anyway, congratulations, Naruto. Said Asuma, walking up to the group with his squad. Thanks, Asuma-sensei. Naruto replied. Yay, gong rats. Said Choji and Ino. Thanks, guys. Did all you guys want something? Naruto asked, curious why he was suddenly the center of attention. Oh, I just thought I'd treat you to some ramen, nice gloves by the way. Those a gift from Kakashi? Kurenai asked. Yay, they're awesome. And ramen would be great, thanks. Naruto replied. No problem. Oh, here. It's a book on using and dispelling genjutsu. It could come in handy one day, said Kurenai, as she handed him a book. Thanks, Kurenai-sensei. I'll try my best with what I can learn from it. Haha, that's good. Well, since Kurenai gave you your gift, how about I give you yours now? Here, said Asuma, pulling out a 10 by 3 feet inch box. Sure, what is it? Naruto asked, taking the box. Shikamaru got a chakra dagger. It absorbs the wielder's chakra. Yours are more like my trench knives. Since you're a wind type, I figured you could have a real good use for it. Just concentrate you wind chakra while you're fighting, and you'd be an even more formidable than you are now. Asuma explained, as Naruto opened the box and tried on his new weapons. Ah wow, this is awesome. Thanks, Asuma-sensei, said Naruto, throwing a few punches in the air to get a feel for his knives. Heh, no problem, kid. Anyway, the ramen is on you, right Kurenai? Asuma asked, turning towards Kurenai. Yay, but only Naruto's and my squads. You're paying for you and your squads. Haha, said Kurenai. With that the group went and ate some ramen. And that concludes part 2 of this story. Thank you for spending your time here at Ichiraku Ramen and listening all the way to the end. Your support helps keep these stories alive and allows the shinobi world to continue through new adventures and alternate timelines. If you enjoyed Naruto's secret jutsu, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future stories. Once again, full credit goes to Keeper of the Ninja Way, the original writer of this story. If you would like to read the original version, you can find the link to the story in the description below. Let me know in the comments what story you would like to hear next. Until the next time, stay safe, and I'll see you again at Ichiraku Ramen.